What's going on, guys? Welcome back. I know last time we were here, it's a whole different setup this time. This time, I'm actually going to do interviews. Now, before I go ahead and introduce my guest of the day, Brendan Boyer. Did I say that right?
No,
No?
no.
No?
Brennan Bauer.
Brennan Bauer.
Close
So,
enough. It's all right. No one gets it right. It's all right. It's been since kindergarten. It's fine.
even though teachers did that?
Teachers, friends I had since day one would still call me, Brendan. I've been called Brendan Bayer, Brianna, all the way to Central. CMU, they call me Brianna.
Brian. Okay, see, now you bugging.
Which the worst is, especially at that level, it's like there's my picture and the name.
That's what I'm saying.
Like-
Even teachers, too? Maybe it's because
Yeah, teachers.
I get it wrong because other people say it wrong.
Well, I don't correct people. That's the thing. I don't correct people. Not because
See, that's your problem.
Well, I mean, it's not like I just don't think anything of it because it's like I could go back and forth all day with everyone. No, there's no D. There's no.
There's no D. I mean, some people ask me, how do you spell Marvin? And I go,
like Chris is always called me Brendan. Evan's brother. The only job where I ever worked where people got it right exactly was actually at it was Sugarbush Tavern, but that was because the manager's son or the owner's son's name was Brennan.
mm-hmm.
So whenever they said my name, they actually weren't talking to me. So I was like, they finally get it right, and it's not about me.
It's not
now
about
I have
me.
to. Then I had to start to learn to ignore my name. I was like, when they say my name, it's not you.
Well, when they call Marvin around our restaurant, I know they're calling greatness to the front to handle fucking business or bullshit.
That's how I used to feel at Texas Roadhouse. It would be like I'd be on just some random position, and they'd be like, "Dish is going down, salad's going down, fries going down." All right, it'd just be a mess of tickets. Someone crying in the corner, the waitress isn't all screaming.
They have it hard over there, I would assume.
Texas Roadhouse?
Yeah. Do you think it's worse than the Coney?
For who? For what position? Like waitresses? No, waitresses only get like three table sections.
Really? That's
Yeah.
it?
So they it's not too bad for them, I don't think. Because they get paid so little, they don't do anything. In terms of like, you'll see them like they always got food out. They're always celebrating with cake.
Mm-hmm.
They're always having kind of hanging around. And then I'm on dish like
Busting your
we're
ass.
missing 4 people, and I'm also helping out on the 2 other positions. And they're like, "You need anything?" I'm like, "Send one of the servers back here."
Yeah, for real.
We need bodies. Nah, Brennan, we pay him too little to make him do anything, which is the way it should be.
For real. I miss those great times, like being at the Coney and we was like heavily staffed and there was like people to talk to.
But I will say for dishwashers, I mean, there was there'd be as little as 2 dishwashers for like a normal shift, like a normal dinner shift. But those 2 dishwashers would be like the 2 like best dishwashers you've ever seen. Because usually the job was done by like when we lost those dishwashers, it became a 4-man job.
Yeah.
And then all the way up to a 6 or even 7-man job for a night.
So you guys were doing at Texas Roadhouse what basically I do now. It's like 3 jobs, but like for me, it's like when I'm on the floor, we don't need a dishwasher. It's Marv, and then out here with the tables, they don't need another bitch. It's me. They don't need another waitress. You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing basically what y'all. It's super bad. Like it's super. I just remember like so many bodies being at work, and now it's like nobody.
No.
It's weird.
You just, now it's like, I mean, I feel like it was always, even when there was, at least my first time at Gus's, even when, because we were fully staffed, we were full, everything was like normal, it was still like, I'm still running around like a maniac, just because that's how I want to do it. That's just how I feel like, I can't sit there, especially working, because I worked at Texas Roadhouse as my first job, or first real official job.
Okay.
And they're a pretty busy restaurant. They do like $100,000 a week. So it was like,
We not pulling that in.
yeah, I mean, well, the prices are also, much higher.
Yeah, you're right, because steakhouse and all of that.
But, so, like, we were doing, like, it's much busier. So, like, when I went to other restaurants, it was like, they'd be like, "It's nuts here." I'm like, sure. Like, and then it was, to every other place, it seems just so slow. And then, like, when I was at the Coney, it would be like, 2 people quit we're full for the first time in 3 days. Not to say that we weren't busy every now and then, but it's so weird how it hits. It can be dead, and then suddenly out of nowhere the entire place is full. Yeah. And then it's empty. An hour later.
Yeah, it's super, but that's because it's like fast, like pick up and go.
A lot of turnover.
You know what I mean?
A lot of turnover.
It's not like people are walking in there spending $100 every time they sit down, because you doing that at Texas Outback, any place Applebee's maybe.
I had a guy actually today. It was like him and 4 kids, and they spent $50, and he comes up and he's like, "This isn't a $50 bill. This isn't $50. You gave me we ordered the shrimp, but we didn't have any, so he ordered another dinner instead. He's like, you didn't take the shrimp off. You still have the other one. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. We took the shrimp off for the other dinner on, and they were the same price. So I print him up another bill, and I go, there you go. And he's like, thank you. He walks away, realizing it's the same price, and he's like, wait, this isn't $50 in food. I was like, it is. And he's like, because I'm like, not saying that like I couldn't have rung something up wrong, but like you're not going to tell me the math is incorrect. I didn't do the math.
The computer did the math.
The computer did the math. So this is the math. So I read to him. He's like, I just did, because he was going off the ticket I have. He's like, I just did the math on my phone, and it's $35. And I was like,
my guy, you got add-ons and some little tax.
I told him straight away. I said, well, you're completely wrong. I said, this is what you have. And I just went through the price. This is what you got, price. And I think that like kind of threw him off when I told him he was completely wrong, because he shut up and was like, I'll just pay it. I was like, good.
I don't like messing with like customers who come in with like a carry out. I do, but I don't, because when they come back in for BS, like somebody came in yesterday and said, yo, you forgot my sauces or whatever. And they brought the bag back in. Before I handed it to him, though, to go, I said, it's in a separate bag on the side. He goes, okay, bet. Come back in. Bro, you forgot my sauce, whatever. I don't come here and spend all this money. I'm like, sir, I can still see the fucking bag right here. He's like, my bad, bro. You know what I'm saying? Sure, I had a rough day. I don't give a fuck about your rough day.
So you decided to make my day a rough day now.
Yeah, now you gonna bitch at... Or the dude who came up there, he was like, there ain't onions and there ain't gravy all on my omelet and my hash. He was like, can you make it again? Then he kept like telling me, oh, can we just make this a Wallace? Can we make this just a me thing? I said, bro, you're not that important. I'm not calling something a Wallace.
Did you say like, he was trying to name it? Did you say that he wanted the... Did he say he knew Gus? Did he let you know that he knows Gus?
No, he said, he was like, well, my wife don't like to cook. This is what I like to eat. I'm trying to, get it the same every time. The hash brown. I was like, bro, the grill messed up. Well, he was like, I don't
get the same every time.
He was like, I get the same every time. Like, I don't. I was like, are you not hearing me? You not? He was like, you know what I'm saying? I took the carry out. I was like, well, I give you a new one. He was like, well, you could just give that back to me. I said, well, what's the point of you coming back if you just gonna eat it?
So he wanted to keep the messed up one and get a new one?
Yes. I gave it because...
Weren't you just going to throw it away, though?
Yes. But what's the point of you coming back bitching?
The reason we make them bring it back is to say, screw you.
Yes. Bring me that.
You're not having both. It's no good? Cool. Bring it back. We'll throw it out. But I'll tell... If anyone asks, like, well, what did you do with it? I say, we're going to teach the cook what the hell he did wrong. I'm going to say we're going to show him what the hell, we're going to find out what's wrong with it. We're going to teach him what he did wrong,
See, you got more patience than me. I just want him out my face before I get mad. No, I get up here with that.
I think I just can bullshit a little quicker sometimes. Or I'm just or maybe I'm just quicker to bullshit with people. Like, I'm just already thinking, like, I'm going to just sell you something that you need to hear just to get out of my face. Like, I'm already ready.
See, you be ready for that. Me, I just be like, when somebody says some bullshit to me or some bullshit, I just look. He sees the look for it, I'll be like, dead ass look at you straight in your face like, come on, you know how crazy this sounds? Like, you know what I'm saying? Then I like react, but it taking a minute to register up here.
I'll tell you something that just drives me nuts, and it's so simple, it's so small, but it makes me just go like, I just want to be like, fuck you. And it's so dumb. It's like they'll be on the phone. It's whether I'm writing it down or whether I'm doing it on the computer, and I'll be like, hey, what can I get you? Can I get a hamburger? All right, sure. How do you want that cooked? Blah blah blah. All right, sweet. Anyway, I want cheese on that. Okay, so you want a cheeseburger. Hold on. Let me go back. You want a cheeseburger. All right, cool. And I want bacon on that. You want a bacon cheeseburger. All right, hold on. Never mind. Or I had a guy today, he goes, can I get a chili fry? I said, sure can. And I'm ringing him up, and I was like, it'll be this much. And cheese on that. You want a chili cheese fry? Okay. Okay. See, like, especially when they got the menu in front of them, like, you've got the menu.
Yeah.
You know there's a chili cheese fry on that menu.
But yeah, they just want to be. I don't like when people do that. They be like, well, let me get that and then put this on the side. I'm like, well, why don't you just eat it how it comes?
Or I've had people be like, I've had literally where I'm like, okay, can I get a breaded chicken? Or can I get it? They're like, can I get a chicken pita? I'm like, do you want breaded chicken? Or do you want grilled chicken? And they'll go, yes. And I've said, no. Do you want the breaded chicken or do you want the grilled chicken? And they go, what kind do you have? That's okay. Third time. Do you want the breaded chicken or the grilled chicken? And they go, the crispy. I'm just like,
fuck you.
and I'm just like,
yeah, or they call. No, they'll call. We'll talk about work, whatever, and I'll get into the next thing in a minute. But we can literally talk about this. But the other day, somebody called. Was like, let me get the honey. I said, okay, we don't have honeys, but we have pitas. But okay. I said, all right, what kind you want? You know the honey.
Yeah.
I go, but which one? I was like, we got the breaded chicken, we got the grilled chicken.
we have the Caesar and the fajita. We have them all.
Yeah, so I'm like, she was like, let me just get the honey how it come. How long we gonna do this for, miss? we gonna keep fucking with me. I don't like it. I don't.
It definitely feels like, or what really drives me nuts the most is, and I had this today also happen. What can I get you? Get the chicken strip dinner. All right. Do you want fries or rice? Becky, fries or rice? Just like on the other end. Rice. Okay, and soup salad, coleslaw. Soup salad. I'm just like, please get your shit together or be in the same room.
Yeah, no, they'd be in the middle of like the order, and they'd be like, Kelly,
No.
soup salad or coleslaw.
The guy today was like, where's she at? Where is she? Where'd she go? And I'm like, or the best I've had. This one, I had this with the drive-through, and it's not as big of a deal, but I get this through the phone all the time. I used to get it, which is, hi guys, come down. How can I help you? Give me a minute. You had all the minutes before you called me.
And then they get to the drive-thru, they go 1 second, and then they call somebody. That's what makes me really mad. I'm like, this is Starbucks. You just waited 20 minutes in line to get to the freaking speaker, and now you have to call somebody to see if they want anything.
Yeah, or sometimes they'll have the person like you can because you can vaguely hear it. The person like not in the driver's seat give the order. And I'm like, can you guys not communicate? Can there not be a simple like, what do you want? What do you need? Okay.
That's what my mom do. Like in the car, she's like, "What does everybody want?" She don't like the whole If you come up to the window and you say I'm going to get pissed off, or if you call and you say why am I even waiting 20 seconds for you to tell me what the fuck you want?
I'm at the point now where I'm like, you get 2 hellos and then
and that's it for that. Yeah, because
you guys come on. How can I help you? Hello. All right.
it just pisses me off. See, he just got off of work, and
I could do this all day. Nothing even happened at work. I had nobody. I was like, I had nothing.
It was dead again.
Dead again. Which I can't complain about too much. I'm not too upset. You know, it's like because sometimes I cleaned the ice machine today. That's what I did.
Did you?
I crawl inside that bitch. I got inside it and cleaned it because that's the only way to do it. Otherwise, I had to contort myself, and I'm like upside down, like slide. I'm like, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah, it's so like.
And then it all starts dripping down your arm, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No, climb inside this. And the entire time I'm inside it, I'm like, is this how I'm going to die? You know, like, is this how it goes? Like, I told people I was inside, so I told people, I was like, I'm going inside this thing. It's sturdy, but, you know, if you don't see me in a little bit, I didn't leave. I'm in an ice machine.
I slipped. The ice machine.
Big enough to fit inside.
It's big enough for you to get
but it's the size of, like, a vending machine.
You can, like, stuff a little person in there.
Maybe a little bigger. But I was inside there, I'm scrubbing it, but I was in there crouched down, and I could have sat in there. You know, like crisscross for, you know, it would have been comfortable, but I could have done it. But I was just like, you know, this thing is sturdy and everything, but I was like, just tips over forward, though.
That's your ass.
Maybe in terms of, like, space, I don't know. If I really think about it now, maybe it would have hit the dish thing. Mm-hmm. So I probably would have been fine, or the wall. But that's a risk I don't really.
That metal bar would have went straight in, and if your face was right, it'll be it for you.
Yeah.
It'll be over with. We bring in work to the cast, which is okay because it's gonna happen.
I feel like anyone who works in customer service can relate to that.
You can't. It's just
everyone. I mean, if you work in a restaurant, you've crawled inside an ice machine.
Yeah.
At Gus's, I have crawled inside an ice machine now, and I've poisoned myself with mustard gas. Trying to clean the bathrooms,
Yeah.
Too much bleach, too much urine.
I did too much bleach one time and I couldn't breathe. I was down there about to have a fucking stroke.
Well, and I was using like the giant wet floor sign, the big cone one, to like prop the door open, and then like it closed on me, and then like the air started getting all wavy, and I went outside, puked. I was coughing and puking, and yeah. But hey, in the next day, people, you know what they said about those bathrooms?
What?
They're dirty. And I was like, Miss, there's nothing I can do. I was like, she's like, you gotta clean those bathrooms. And I was like, Miss, I can die trying.
I can. Don't.
Things just need to be replaced.
Huh?
I said sometimes things just need to be replaced, but sometimes you just don't have the money to replace them, so you just get.
I hear they're going to remodel soon. This was at the 23 store, by the way.
They want to remodel in there?
I mean, they've been talking about remodels before I started working there, I'm sure.
They're not
Well, I mean, they claim, I think it's supposed to be this summer. That's what Chris said. So he seemed, somewhat sure of it. So I'd like to see it. It'd be really nice, Yes. It'd be really nice, but...
It would. I want to thank you for coming up on the Late Night Talks.
I'm glad to be here,
Marv. My first interview, I wanted to try something different. I wanted to bring people up here with game, and when I mean game I mean information that can help somebody elevate their life or their career or whatever there is they're trying to get into, because there's a lot to learn out here, and anybody can give you a way. Anybody can give you some information that can go a long way.
Yeah.
So I brought you here because you are in the same field as me, film.
Yep.
But you have went farther and done more things in film than I have.
I started a little sooner, I think I probably started, I'm assuming at least I'm a little older. So I think I started a little sooner. At least I think I'm a little older.
You are a little older.
I'm a little older.
How old are you?
27.
You got about 6 years.
28 in March.
There you go. March what?
25th. Oh, God.
At least you're not 30.
I had to listen to this though. Okay, so my dad had me when he was 30. So we're 30 years. So I was born in 94. He was born in 64. So to me, 64 always felt like a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was like cutting the grass this summer, and I'm like, because I'm 27. So I'm like, barring an accident and a miracle in an accident, you're not having a kid in the next 3 years. You don't got that planned at least.
I mean, if you want to try.
Like I said, barring a miracle and an accident, I don't because I don't want one right now. I'm not against kids. I can't afford myself right now. I'm not bringing another thing into this. Play games.
I would love to have a baby right now. You know what I mean? But you keep running from.
Do I need to? Should I go into the room?
No,
this podcast is gonna get real different for you guys. For those viewers who decide to stay on the.
Yes, girlfriend, and I want to get her pregnant. Big babies. Yes.
Like I said, I'm not in that. There was a time where I maybe wasn't against. Anyway, now we're talking about that, but I'm definitely not in that position right now. For the kids, because you got to feed those things not just every time you eat, but more.
Yeah, I know, but it's okay. It only take one good cooch and you there. You know what I'm saying? One good cooch and a fucked up decision you made in the car to not wrap up.
Which is why I just told you it would take a miracle in an accident.
That's not accidental. Before you get into some ass, as men we look in our wallet, look in our pocket, and we go, nah, I could. You know what I'm saying? But
I had a friend who we were eating lunch, and he gets up to go to the bathroom, and he pulls out of his front pocket. He pulls out of an unused condom, and he goes, "I have had sex 3 times this week. Still haven't used it."
I'm proud of him.
And then a week and a half later, his girlfriend is announcing that she's pregnant on Facebook.
Oh shit. Was the 3 bodies her?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Well,
that don't count. You can't tell us you used that on your girlfriend. That don't count. We know you probably didn't wrap. Because who wraps up? Be honest. When the last time you wrapped up with your girlfriend? When you had a girlfriend? Was y'all raw dogging it, or was y'all Slim Jimmying it up?
I don't know if I can use mine as an example. Mine was a very unstable relationship.
Okay, we talking about the sex part in the unstable.
Yeah, no, it was everything changed constantly. One day yes, one day no, one day it was needed, one day it was who cares.
So when those was needed or
who cares?
Answer my question.
I feel like it goes with and I'm not gonna I don't know. I think it depends on how they are about it. If they want you to wear one, you wear one. It's probably best to wear one. But if they tell you that you don't need to wear one, then you definitely need to wear one.
Low key, because if any girl tell me, I get behind there and I take the rubber off, she like, no, you straight, you good. No, I'm just.
You be like, I too.
Let me see some records. Because you don't say that. You like, you know what I'm saying? Once you pull it out.
Anybody who says, oh no, you're fine, like,
I gotta just do it, and she be like, you got it on? I'd be like, no. She'd be like, all right, That I respect, because I feel like she don't got something, but a bitch just laying there and be like, you damn sure don't gotta do it. You got something.
Like there's heat of the moment where it's like, oh, it's fine. That's one thing. Mm-hmm. But when they make it clear that you don't even before, like, no, you're good. You seem like you've had this conversation before.
Yes. For who's been back here? Who?
No. In fact, now I'm hesitant on whether even one is going to do the trick. Whether even I should, whether I should go into this battlefield.
For real? Well, here's a question since we on sex. So let me ask you something. Have you ever been like raw dogging a chick, right? Out of the times you gave her the, the doggy pound, and you damn near can feel that this girl didn't have some fellas in here. For real. Is that just me, or can like everybody feel that too? Like you be like, this puppy been through a rodeo before.
Yes. Oh yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I one time had a girl go. She goes, "Are you in?" And I go, "I don't know." I said, "I really have no idea." Rough.
Okay, you don't. Another question, since we on sex still. Shit.
It's embarrassing for both of us.
It is. What is your worst sex experience? And you the guy I really want to ask, because you elaborate and you like details like me. I like really get into the story. So, what is your worst sexual experience with a woman? Because obviously you don't like men, Shout out LGBTQ. Let me get it right.
Plus.
I'm not doing that. No. They get a shout out. They don't get that big of a shout out. Fuck it.
See, I don't know if I can really say I've had like a worse. I don't think I've had anything like particularly that's like, oh, this is story worthy type thing. It's more just like cut and dry, like, I will say an interesting one I guess I had was, well, I didn't have it. I turned it down. Mm-hmm. This was before actually, so this was before I was still a virgin at the time. So I was actually at Central, sitting there minding my own business. I didn't really go out much on the weekends. I wasn't opposed to it, but I just, to me, a nice weekend in was, clean the dorm room, put on a nice movie, order a pizza, have a nice, a glass of, Pepsi or Coke or whatever. And
so the party life just wasn't for you.
Yeah, at the time, I didn't smoke or drink at the time. I mean, not that I didn't drink. I would drink like, I drank for the first time at my grad party.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're big, and I see you got your one hitter with you.
Now things have changed. Things have changed a bit.
When did you start that?
I started smoking. I didn't smoke for the first time until I was 22. Try it for the first time.
How high were you?
Not at all. First 5 times I didn't feel it.
Was it Reggie?
What do you mean?
No, the first time you smoked weed, I thought it was a thing to not get high because you haven't learned to like inhale
Do you have
it.
Do you have like a pen you don't want to use? Like a crappy pen.
You know what? Babe, you got one?
I definitely.
Like one that you don't want to use again.
I feel you.
These things clog sometimes.
I'll even light this up and we'll pass that around when we.
But so I was 22 the first time I tried it, and like I said, first 5 times didn't feel a thing. I just, I was, in fact, I tried it, I tried it with my friends who we worked with at the Coney, Sarah. And I was just like, I didn't really feel anything. And one time we were at a party, this was like the 3rd time I tried it, still didn't feel anything. We, we're passing a couple back and forth. I'm just like.
She was probably smoking that bullshit.
Potentially, you know. But then the guy was like, "Do you want to do coke?" And I was like, you know, like it was like there was a part of me that's like, how often are you going to be offered a free? I mean, probably more often than I think.
You did it, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I was gonna do it, but the reason I didn't do it, ultimately, besides the fact that the guy was a bit, you know, anyone who offers you coke is, well, not anyone. This guy didn't seem, he seemed like a bit off. But the real reason I really said no to it was more just like, I really feel like I should at least get high on the marijuana first.
Yeah.
Let me go through the gate, you know?
Before you just fully
I can't,
go on that pathway.
You know, so I was like, nah, this hasn't worked yet. I don't think we should go, I don't think we should gun it. You know,
you shouldn't get into drugs and go coke, heroin, weed. You don't pedal.
We go up the ladder. We don't start coming. You know.
Yeah, you don't skate to the top. Yeah,
exactly.
You don't do that shit.
No one climbs. No one starts from the top of Mount Everest and works their way down.
For real.
Wouldn't that be something?
It would. So when you were at CMU, is that where you started your film career? Is that when you started, or when? Actually, better question. When did you start?
Ooh, so film. I decided at CMU I wanted to do film.
Okay.
So I went to CMU. At 18, I immediately actually got into what was called VIMA, which was a network marketing company. VIMA was the company name and one of the drink names. They specialize in like healthy vitamins and drinks and whatnot. And the main thing they had was one of the main things they had was called VERV, which was a healthy energy drink. Had a bunch of vitamins, and everyone's got a superfruit, so they found a superfruit. So they had one of the superfruits in there, and they were marketing to college kids. And at the time, you actually could be 16 and sign up. They later changed it to 18, but like they were really going after the college age market. So I discovered it through my mother sent it to me because she was in another network marketing company. So she sent it to me because her upline, her son got involved. So
is that when you got like introduced and like interested in it for real? When she sent it and you was like, oh, let me try this.
Well, she sent me a video and I was in my dorm room and I was like, I'm into this because they're talking like you can money that and I'm just like. Basically, it was like, you don't need school. Here's money. Here's a way to make money. And I was like, oh, wait a second. Because I just been told, like, you just need to go to school, then you'll make money.
So is that when you, like, pushed school to the side and go, okay, I'm going to pursue this over here?
Was it kind of like a pyramid scheme? I feel like a lot of marketing jobs.
That was a big thing we had to argue. I would say, you could argue in a way yes, in a way no. I mean, the big thing is it had a product. Mm-hmm. So they say, the argument was, oh, no, because it's not a pyramid scheme because it's got a product. They were investigated eventually, and I think they were cleared. But once you're investigated, it's kind of, you're screwed at that point anyway.
It makes you look really bad.
Exactly.
Do you regret it, though?
Not at all. Not even for a second. I didn't make a dime, but I don't regret it for a second. I learned so much about business, about myself, self-motivation, working with other people, working with I brought all that to, like, anything else I did.
Interesting.
But then I could also argue I brought everything else I was doing to VIMA. So, where did it start, I guess. But that I learned a lot about, like I said, getting into, like, personal development. And through that, I discovered these, like, motivational speeches and tracks and all this stuff. And I discovered this one guy, Alan Watts was his name, because he passed away. And he's a British philosopher. Real great to listen to. He's all over YouTube. Plenty of stuff on YouTube. And one of these talks he had was, he asked the question, which was, what would you do if money didn't matter? Like, how would you spend your life? So I was a freshman at the time, and I was like, and I was in VIMA, and I was like, I wouldn't do anything. Which isn't an answer. But I was just like, I wouldn't do a fucking thing. I don't know what I wouldn't, like, because you're just like, no, money doesn't matter. I wouldn't do any. I don't know. I wouldn't do a thing. Yeah. So I sat on that for like, as my freshman year, I sat on that for like 2.5 years. Because I loved listening to it. I loved his voice, and I loved listening to it. And then one day I was it was a summer, and I kind of got this idea for a TV show based around like a restaurant. And it was like, it wasn't anything solid. It was just like this idea. And I was like, you can have ideas like this.
Yeah.
And not that I was estranged to writing. I wrote when I was in like elementary school. We'd write like little short stories and everything.
I remember those times. But
it wasn't like, I hadn't pursued it really since then. So I was like, oh, well, I could see that being a show. I like that. So eventually I was like, I realized if I could do anything, I would tell stories. So I was like, film seemed like the best way to go about that. Best way to tell stories. Because, not to say I'm against writing, because obviously I do writing, but, I'm not like, I'm not like against books, but I like audiobooks more than I like reading the book.
Me too.
So it wasn't like I was a huge reader to begin with. So I was like, I was a big film buff. So I was like,
you're a listener. You like to listen, and because like with narration and reading, like the way they emphasize it, you envision it more than you can
I like to close
it.
my eyes and watch the story that you're telling me.
You know what I'm saying? And I tell her all the time, like I'll be at work and I'll be listening to trolling videos, and I'm like, I can envision it, and it's way more fun for my imagination than sitting here and reading pages or even watching it. It's cool, but using this is the best tool I have.
I agree with that. I that's how I feel, and so like I said, I like listening. I like to tell stories, so I was like, that was that's the route I'll go. So I was at CMU and I was doing sports management unofficially. That was my goal. I hadn't really taken any classes. I was really just banging out the electives and the prereqs and all that bullshit.
All that bullshit they make you do for 2 years.
All the expensive bullshit. So I hadn't really taken any major classes for anything. So I didn't waste any money in that regard. So I was like, I'll go into film. Let's try the film degree at Central. So I signed up for the film classes. And the first semester, I'm like, first off, these are the classes I've already taken. I've taken these classes. These were my prereqs, but they didn't technically count. This, though that didn't count really. That's not that. That's this. I'm like, it's not though. It's the same material. And it was also like, I learned about who invented the radio. I take journalism. I'm like, I don't give a shit about this. I don't care.
Put me where I need. And that's where universities get that hit or miss because unlike trade school, they don't really put you where you need to be until you're a graduate going into graduate. Then I have to pay more to really step foot where I need to be.
Exactly.
So at CMU, what was the guy's name that motivator, professional speaker you were mentioning?
It was Alan Watts.
So Alan Watts. So after watching his video, that motivates you to go. And I don't know how CMU is. Is it a shitty school? Because like if I was to be there and go after one video, I gotta go do something else. Or was it that
school wasn't for me? I had to be carried into school since like first grade. Like my mother would hand me to my teacher because I didn't want to be there.
Interesting.
Why? I don't know. I think it was just being forced to be in a specific spot. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not against. I love learning. But I like to do that on my own. I like to learn my own. Also, I didn't realize. I don't know. I really. I say this to people, and every time I say it, I'm like, "Do you really feel that way?" And I think I do. I really feel like maybe middle school, maybe, but after elementary, I could argue that I didn't need to learn any more of what they taught me.
I agree.
Not to say I'm ready for life, ready for the workplace, ready for things like that, but like elementary, you learn the foundations. You learn how to, everything.
Wake up every day,
do
this, do that.
How to read, how to write, how to do basic math, how to, about...
It's really all you need
you learn the basic lies of the country, So I just, after that though, like I enjoyed 6th grade and I didn't really enjoy anything after that. And I was like, I don't need any of this.
Maybe you knew at an early age, I'm not going to be doing this later. You know what I mean? Because everybody, and I feel like me personally too, like I put myself, okay, I'm going to go to Macomb, which I go there now, and then I'll be on the Ross Medical School in March. But I was like, thank you. So I'm like going to school, I'm forcing myself to get up for these classes, and I'm miserable. It's making me depressed. And I never knew that was a thing, but all the outside noise is telling me, that's how you're going to get your money. You got to go there to be smart, to be otherwise you're going to be looked down upon. Everybody else asks you, aren't you in school? I'm like, damn, can I do something else? Because, there's other jobs for everybody out here.
No, I agree with that. I was going to say, like, if I would not change anything the way I did, because ultimately leaving Central, when I left Central, I was able to, well, really the biggest thing was that, because like my friend told me, kind of as a joke, he was like, because film school was a 1-year program, but I had to go do it twice because I couldn't afford it. I had to drop out halfway through the first year because I couldn't afford it. So I had to come back and finish it. But and it took me a few years to get into it out of school and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So my buddy was just like, in the time that you finished film school, you could have also finished Central and like you could have done both.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, But I wouldn't have met like you. I wouldn't have met all the great people I met at Gus's.
You see, I feel like that one singular place brings a lot of people together, and that's what I want to do to this pod, because people don't know how many like good people and like how many people they can really get this information to really carry them where they need to be. That I know personally, and I'm like, I gotta bring them here because they know stuff. You know more about film, so as you're teaching them, you're teaching me too. I'm a student to the game.
Like I met so many good people at Gus's that I wouldn't have changed the way I did it. But like at the same time, if from like you're like you said, you want to do film, and you're also you're getting this degree. I can also tell you though, like you said you're 24,
21.
21. Even I'm gonna sound like Gary Vee. You're so young.
I am a kid.
But like, I mean, really though, like, cause I always like, I don't know, for some reason I always would think like, that's like, for some, you get this thought like, when I'm that age, it's gonna feel I'm that age. Yeah. I'm gonna feel different. I'm gonna think different. You don't. You're always feel. I feel.
You might have like a new like state of mind where you like I'm more mature than last year. I have these goals.
You have more knowledge. You change things, but you feel, at least for me at least, I feel the same. Like,
I'm the same person. You just have more to carry on. You know what I'm saying. And
so I didn't feel like there was as much. I didn't think about time the same way. I didn't realize like how young I'm going to still be in whatever amount of years.
10 years. Well, 10 years, you'll still be young.
No, exactly.
You'll still be, yeah.
No, exactly. But at the time, I was like, when I was 18, I was like, for some reason, I was just like, it's about the 20s, man. If you're not successful in your 20s.
No, people out here blowing up and they're in their 40s. 50s.
No, exactly. It's that nothing. It's your 20s. You're supposed to be a failure. Yeah. Everything sucks in your 20s.
Yeah, you're just supposed to party, go around, fuck a bunch, and make a bunch of mistakes. Basically.
Yeah, and hopefully build a nice foundation
by 30.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That's what. Yeah. But so I would definitely tell you that like there is something to be said about getting that solid job that pays. Yeah. Pays well, and then saying, now I'm going to pursue film correctly.
Do you feel like that was your better choice, and is that the better choice?
I didn't do that. I did. I have no money. I am not in a stable position. I'm going to do film.
But hold on, wait. Before you continue, how happy are you?
Oh no, I'm like it's
compared to now, and if you just had like a stable.
Oh, like I said, I wouldn't change it. But the reason I wouldn't have changed it is more because, like I said, of all the people I met. Because I know that if I had kept at CMU, I would not have gone to Gus's. I would not have met everyone I met. Because I got close with a lot of people. I would not have met all these people. I wouldn't have had these experiences. So I'm happy that I had that. But at the same time, there's part of me that's like,
could have finished.
You had some money though. If you had a little bit more. Now, really though, it's a little different from my degree. Actually, when I really think about it now, when I actually think about it, because where I work,
Mike's pick up everything.
Yeah, for where I work at, which is for the Macomb County. I work for the government, whatever, which is a nice little stable job. Health insurance, all that good stuff.
Talk your shit.
And, but two of the people I work with, same position, pay slightly different just because of seniority. Every 6 months you get a percentage. So, like, he's got a few percentages higher than me because he's been here whatever. Yeah. So, but we're all on the same path. But it's like, two of them graduated from CMU. Same age range. And I'm just like, okay, well, maybe that wasn't the degree for me.
Yeah. For you'll know. And I was just talking to another guy yesterday about that. Like, you can go to school, and he said, he was like, I never finished high school, and he's like, I got my CDL when you drive trucks. Yeah. And he was like, I have that, and he was like, other guys finished, went to college and all that, and they making the same money as me. He was like, I've won. I'm like, well, you should have graduated, you know what I'm saying? But, you never know what people going through.
I mean, like, if he can, yes, until the cars become self-driving, and then they're like, well, you got a college degree, we'll let you work on it. But,
okay, so let's make a timeline. Okay, so we went to CMU, you know what I'm saying? So take me on a bit of a path. I'm trying to make a vision of your life timeline. So take me from, because I want to know where you grew up and if that influenced you to get to film. Or was it, I like stories, so maybe I'm going to apply it to this. Was there something in your life that, like, pushed you maybe a little bit in, like, to film?
When I look back, I was oddly I was more into film than I thought I was.
Back when?
When I look back on like my whole childhood and everything, okay. Like there was time. I remember there was many times as a child I was like, my parents had a camcorder that I always wanted to use. They never let me use it. I think it was broken. They said it was. Who knows? Probably lies.
Probably cap.
You know, or I was always trying to get like, you know, as a kid, any amount of money is astronomical. So it was like, it'd be like $100 camcorder. I see it like in a Target magazine, and I was like trying to convince my brothers, like, yo, if we can, let's try to get some money. You know, I was like, and then I'm thinking in my head, like, we can reenact I'm just like, you know, because I'd like write stories and stuff.
Like spinoffs and shit.
Yeah, and like,
Same here, actually.
I had like these little stories about like, they were all like original characters, but like it was in the vein of like, or tone of like hints of like Avatar, Dragon Ball Z, Star Wars was like, Danny Phantom was like kind of like, it was a conglomeration of like, you know, but with my own characters and whatever. And so I was into that in like elementary. Middle school was more like the first part of middle school I did like, I had like, because I had one teacher in 4th grade who really kind of encouraged me to write. Mm-hmm. Like we did, you know, we had journals in class in 4th grade, and it'd be like, you know, these little things. And I think he caught on like early on, like realized that I was running with them, like these little prompts. Uh-huh. So he started coming up with more interesting ones. And then because he was actually getting engaged at the time, my teacher, and he invited his fiance into class to have me go into the hallway and just read her stories I wrote.
Oh, shit.
And, like, I didn't think of anything at the time. I was just like, all right, cool. But we're looking back, I'm like, that's actually pretty fucking cool. I was like, you got, you know, he wants to, you know, you helped. I probably helped him get laid that night.
You probably did. You definitely got him some.
I definitely, you know, in hindsight, I definitely got him laid that night. You know, because I had some good stories. She loved him, you know. So like I said, that encouraged me a lot. And then when I was in 6th grade, I had a teacher who we would have to read out loud, and I was encouraged to like, I would do voices for the characters and like all these weird stuff. And
I can tell by your facial expressions and all of that.
But like, you know, that kind of changed after 6th grade. Like, you know, I feel like a lot of people's humor changed, or at least attitudes changed, and it wasn't as fun to be as goofy, whatever. Like that wasn't as interesting, or I don't know.
Those people suck. That's allowed.
No, it's definitely, like I said, this was middle school, so it was more like, you know, I kind of was just like, I'm gonna I'm gonna shut down myself. We're just gonna, you know. And then I started going more towards like, you know, in high school, more towards dark humor. I discovered George Carlin, and really just like had him on like loop for a good, I feel like 5 years.
So if you was listening to him, honestly, who's your favorite comedian? Because I figure out it's best to go on Spotify. No, the Spotify. What is the one blue app called?
Pandora.
Yeah.
Pandora's solid.
Yep. Go Pandora. Type in comedians and click shuffle, and it plays like everybody's shit.
I will say, like, I mean, if you are looking for some good comedians, I could talk about comedians all day. Like,
I can't. But who's the best to you?
To me,
not who's the best out here.
Best to me. I mean, the GOAT to me is got to be George Carlin.
Talk your shit, okay.
You know, in terms of, he had like, I mean, I think almost like a dozen HBO specials. Mm-hmm. Like just, you know, and these are almost, you know, a full hour of material. It was a wide range of, you know, of stuff he covered, and it's, you know, some of it's not even like it's funny, but it's like it makes you think more.
It does.
You know, like I don't know if have you ever listened to any of him?
I have. If I have, I didn't know who he was, but I definitely listened to him.
I'll send you a little clip after this.
Okay.
Just a little snippet of one of his, cause like, you know, he kind of ends a lot of his specials with, he's got a bunch of jokes, but he ends it like a long one, you know. Mm-hmm. And I'll send you like one of his finishers, and it's called, the premise is, the planet is fine, the people are fucked.
The planet, well, we know for sure that the planet is not okay. We're fucking it.
No, the planet is fine. The people are fucked.
Yeah. Well,
the planet's not going. His he goes into the whole thing, but he's like, the planet's not going anywhere. The planet has survived floods and earthquakes and cosmic and solar rays and the reversal of the poles and the shifting of the plates and bombardment by meteors and all this stuff. The planet is fine.
Just imagine if we left though, and like
There's a show like that. There's a show there were on the History Channel. They did like a little series called like Life After People, where they went around. It was like it was digitally done. It looked good, but it was like they'd be like in 10 years, and they'd show like this is gonna happen. This will happen in 50 years. This is what the city will look like. And it'd be like some of the stuff was like the first few months would be like to be like house pets trying to get free, from get out into the wild, and then a lot of the breeds that we bred would die off because they weren't bred to survive.
True.
Eventually, a lot of the infrastructure, like bridges, would start to collapse because they're not being maintained. Moss would start to cut. Eventually,
everything would be green.
Eventually, animals after a certain amount of years or whatever would start to feel comfortable walking out and about. And everything would start feeling green.
I wanna see that because, I'll be honest, this planet has been fucked ever since we got on it, for real. We did fuck it. But it wasn't gonna be inhabitable with those fucking dinosaurs walking around anyway. We wouldn't have been able to live, for real.
I could argue that the cement looks better than the whenever I see an open field, I just think strip mall. A beautiful strip mall could be here.
I think about that shit.
This could be
this open space.
You see you go through like a wonderful national park, like or just not even national park, just like Stony Creek.
It's so nice.
It's so nice, but all I think is, oh my god, if this was a parking lot, a parking structure, how nice would that be?
So many cars. So
all the cars we could fit there. They could have McDonald's. You have Taco Bell. Be wonderful.
You're gonna ruin all that forest green shit for Taco Bell. At least put a
get rid of the water, all of it. All the fish, all the deer could buy. Put a Build-A-Bear. If we want animals.
Now you pushing it. No. Get you a Krispy Kreme.
Yep, exactly.
I'm saying a little Chipotle. You know what I'm saying.
Speaking of Krispy Kreme, I just saw a TikTok that was like. It was a clip of some documentary about police, and it was like why police should have more training. And the guy was like, "So my partner, he dragged his finger across the seat, and he goes, huh, buddy, that's crystal meth right here." And I go, "That's not crystal meth. That's some glaze from a Krispy Kreme donut the other day. I just haven't cleaned it yet."
Fuck. Where do you even get crystal? Let me not start asking questions like that because I don't even know.
You start getting. That's when the people start commenting.
Yeah, they'd be like, over here. You know what I'm saying?
It's never like comment your favorite animal. It's like, where am I gonna get that crystal meth at?
That meth, I got you. So for you, because you've always loved film, like you said, growing up, and then you really got into your comedy and everything and your voices in 6th grade, middle school era. What is your... Because I'm very into movies too. Love stories, adventures, dramas, any types of shit. I eat that shit up. Mm-hmm. I show her the best love story movie there is, and she cried. Which
one's that?
It's called The Best of Me.
The Best of Me. Ooh, okay. I haven't heard. Who's in it?
You can... Somebody I don't know, but they nice.
Sometimes it's better when you don't know them.
I don't know them.
Takes you out of it,
Oh yeah, the actress because they kind of go from the past to the present.
Yeah.
The chick.
Wait, what's it called again?
The Best of Me. You can get it on YouTube, like if you want to rent it.
Okay. Is it newer?
No, it was like 2011, 12.
Okay, The Best of Me.
Yeah, same people who made that.
2011, 2012. Jesus Christ, that was when I graduated.
I graduated at 18.
Dude, I'll be playing like now. I'll be like on. I just got the Oculus. I'll be on the Oculus and I'll be like, killing people and I'll be like, Jim Bob, 2012. Judging by your voice, something tells me you weren't graduating in 2012. No, I was born in 2012. I'm like,
so young. So remember that movie 2012 that came out?
Yeah.
That shit scared the fuck out of me.
That wasn't a bad movie. I thought that was interesting.
It was good. I liked it.
That was a big deal at the time. They started talking about that when I was in 7th grade. Like, the world's gonna end. 2012. I was like, oh, fuck, that's when we graduate. I was like, that is when it would end.
You said that's when we graduate. Okay, so I'm gonna send you a link for that movie too.
Yeah, definitely.
You can find it. It gets you going. Even me, I cry every time on one part.
You know what's funny is I didn't cry for for movies until I was like in my 20s.
It took you that long?
Yeah, I just I was a heartless bastard, And I would watch them, and I was just like, yeah, it's a good movie. It's cool. Like, like my whole family watched Up. Everyone's in tears. I'm like, fuck you guys.
You different. See,
Heartless.
I
now,
have a thing.
not now. Now it's like, it could be like, it could literally just be like, boss comes up to a random character. Hey, good job today. I'm just like, oh, God.
For real, I be judging
I'm a mess.
shit. She fucking got me into this thing ever since I met her. We like judge shit. Like a movie be like, she'll be like, oh, it was good. I'll be like, nah. Like to the point where like I thought when I met her, I'm like, she's very judgy. And then she got me to start. It rubbed off on me, and now I'm doing it now. Or I'm like, even with food, a book, anything, I'm like, it's alright. It ain't all that. You know what I'm saying? And it gets that conflict going. But what is your favorite movie?
Okay, so
and I can even break it into a genre if it's easier.
I'm just gonna throw out a handful that I really dig.
Okay, top 5.
One of them's got to be Good Will Hunting. I'm a big fan of that. It's Rob Williams, Leonardo DiCaprio, Rob Williams, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. It's about it's like he grows up in South Boston or whatever, foster home, everything, abuse, but he's a fucking genius also. So it's like discovering that and whatever. Have you not seen it?
I've never seen that.
Oh, fuck. Okay, you gotta
That's
watch
why I look very... Because I'm like, I've never seen that.
That's a classic.
Definitely send me a link to that.
I will definitely send you that one. Yeah, so Good Will Hunting. Comedies are tough. I've always said Step Brothers because that was just a classic. I love the original the 3 Austin Powers. Blazing Saddles.
Those were hard, yeah.
Young Frankenstein. There's so many good ones. In terms of newer comedies or comedies that made me go like, fuck, that was,
I hate new comedies.
There's some good ones out there. You just gotta, it's, good movie, comedy. It's actually a TV show now. I haven't seen the show yet. I've heard it's good, but just the movie I watched, What We Do in the Shadows.
I think I've seen that.
It's about it's like mockumentary style, about vampires in modern day living in a flat. It's funny. It's really good. 10 minutes in before the opening credits, I told myself, I said, I'm going to show this to my child.
So, you gave me 2 movies. Give me 3, because we had a brief intermission because my mic stopped.
So I gave you what I said. I said, What We Do in the Shadows. I said, Good Will Hunting.
Yep.
Okay, so another good one is The Nice Guys. This is a newer one.
Okay.
It's with Ryan Gosling.
I think I've seen it.
And Russell Crowe. I want to say it's Russell Crowe. I always mix up Gerard Butler and Russell Crowe. White people look alike too. They always say about certain races. No one talks about white people look like. If there was a movie with Ben Affleck, Leonardo DiCaprio, and a bunch of other, like Casey, all of them, I'm just like.
Okay, I don't want to be racist,
It'd be tough.
but I'm gonna say this.
It's tough sometimes.
A lot of white dudes on Call of Duty sound the same. These niggas got 3. You either get the high squeaky one, the one who sound like he smoked weed, and then the dad.
And that's completely true. Because when I play online, it's always different people, but I wouldn't know by the voices.
You wouldn't know. It's like the same niggas, but they can say that about us. But I feel like certain of us sound different. But there go me again, being picky or just saying shit. But
like I said, I've always known, there's always like we say Asians or black people all look like. I'm like, white people too, because I'll watch movies and too many white people with the same haircut. I'm just like. Especially if it's like a movie where it's like I might not know the actors yet.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck it.
He looked like
sometimes they'll they'll introduce 4 characters in real quick succession, scene after scene after scene. I'm like, wait a second, they'll show like one white guy, okay, and then or even a girl, whatever. They'll show like one white person, and then they'll never show that person again, but they'll show three more scenes where it's a similar looking white person.
Yep.
And then later on, I'm like, wait, there's 2 of them? No, I should have known that because they're not trying to trick me. I just literally think it's the same person. Now I think that's partially me not also paying complete attention.
Yeah.
But still, I'm like, they look alike.
I'm like, he look like him. I do that too. I'll be like, y'all. I do it at the Coney sometimes.
Especially, I think the first time I watched, and I was younger when I watched it, but the first time I watched The Departed, which is Mark Wahlberg, Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, and I think those are, and then Alec Baldwin, but he looks unique enough. But those 3 or 4, whatever, they're damn near interchangeable at times.
For real.
You know, and the first time I watched it, I was like, wait, because it's all of the twists and turns also, but I was like, these are, they're different people. These are different. You know, like, it was, it had me all. But anyway, that's my little segue on. On that.
You think they look? You think a lot of white people look the same, and I think a lot of white people sound the same. I feel you. Okay, you gave me 3 movies. I need 2 more. Give me 2 more.
Okay, 2
more. I'll be quick with mine.
Okay, 2 more movies. I mean, okay, I'll go Young Frankenstein. Now, I could easily interchange Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles. These are just like a Mel Brooks movie type of thing. You know, like Blazing Saddles is a classic. I don't know if you've seen that one.
No.
It's about like the first. I don't know if he's the first, but like they treat it like the first black sheriff in an old western, and they're just horrible. They're just they're racist and it's horrible. And it was written by Mel Brooks, Richard Pryor, and a few other writers. But Richard Pryor was actually supposed to be the lead. But the studio wouldn't insure him because of all the drugs he was taking, or whatever issues he had, they wouldn't insure him. But it was with Gene Wilder, who played Willy Wonka's in it. Gene Wilder is also in Young Frankenstein and was also a writer on that one, which is about Dr. Frankenstein's great grandson, and how he starts kind of takes over the family, business or whatever a little bit in that way.
Okay.
Both great comedies, classics. In the 70s they were made. They were made pretty close to each other.
Okay.
Definitely classics. For a 5th one, that's a tough one. You know, I don't even know if these are naming favorites or just there's so many I could just throw, if I name it I feel like it's a favorite. Like what is a favorite? You know, they're all favorites.
Some shit that's on my list. If you was to get it and put it on the wall, type frame. It has to be that.
That's tough. Because there's so many that just are just
I know that's
they're
why.
wonderful in their own way. They're wonderful for their genre, and
No, we're not doing. So what is one that just stand out? Because I said, I feel like I'm a cut. I'm already thinking about mine. It's fucking me up.
I want to name so many. I want to say Knives Out, which came out recently. Mm-hmm. I want to say the 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. I'd love to say. I'd love to say Insomnia with Robin Williams and and what's it? Al Pacino. What was the other film? I was literally just had the tip of my tongue. Son of a bitch, I lost it. Seabiscuit is a great movie. It's with Tobey Maguire and Jeff Bridges. And Elizabeth Banks. It's about a horse. It's about a horse in the Great Depression, a racehorse.
Everybody in this room probably seen Seabiscuit a couple times, right?
Oh, really?
You've seen Seabiscuit?
I've seen
Seabiscuit's awesome. When did you watch Seabiscuit?
When I was younger.
On your own? You just put on Seabiscuit? I watched it with my dad.
Disney Channel.
Really?
That shit was coming on Disney Channel.
It was on Disney Channel. Actually, they did put on Disney Channel.
It was PG enough.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not a happy movie. I guess neither is things on Disney Channel, but that's I'm trying to think of the other movie I was thinking about.
That man said Seabiscuit. I said, oh shit.
I was when I think of Seabiscuit, I watch it with my father all the time, and I just loved that. It was such a, it was a good movie. It was depressing as hell, but it was the Great Depression. I don't think it's supposed to be a happy movie.
Free Willy.
The one thing that happens in the movie that was never addressed again, and it baffles my mind that it never comes up again. Get away from it.
You right. I feel like your movies were more back in the past. Mine's are maybe more recent, maybe more newer. But we're 2 different people, so I can kind of get a feel to what you like and stuff. I feel like my top 5 would be the movie Life. You can watch it on Netflix. Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
They go to jail and they're false accused and shit. It's a comedy, but it gets a bit serious. But I like it. It's funny. The second, which is the best of me, Love Story.
Best of me.
Yep, great flick, great chick flick. It does its thing. It's not super. It is super soft, but it's not super girly. You know what I mean? Third is where we get iffy. I don't want to disrespect nobody's movie if I don't put them in a 5. 3. Oh shit. Lilo and Stitch. I'm going childhood movie.
Oh shit.
Yep. Lilo and Stitch would be 3. 4, the second Transformers. Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. I like that one.
Okay.
Optimus Prime gets his ass beat and gets stabbed. And I just think that shit funny. The 5th one, fuck. The Water Boy. You know that's a classic. That is a
What was the first one you said again?
Life.
Life, okay.
Well, you gotta watch, when you get home tonight, smoke a little weed, watch Life.
I will say I haven't seen Life. In terms of Martin Lawrence, I didn't watch a lot of Martin Lawrence as a kid. I remember like the movie. I loved the movie. I don't know the name of it, but it's where he goes back in time to like medieval era. You know.
Yo, where he was fucking the one white chick in the. Yeah, I watched that last 2 years ago. I had like a seizure and I was home and shit because out of the hospital, and I was watching this shit on the bed. It was like Thanksgiving time, bro. That shit was.
That came out when I was a kid, and I remember seeing that all the time, and I liked that movie. I thought that was cool. But Eddie Murphy, man, I had Raw and Delirious memorized, man. When I was a kid, I loved those stand-ups.
He does his thing, but I feel like stand-up Dave Chappelle, he's got.
Oh yeah, I was about to say when we were talking about my favorite, Dave Chappelle, and I really would put Dave Chappelle and George Carlin right up there together. I mean, Chappelle's still going, and I prefer his early. Not to say his newer stuff is not as bad. It's bad by any means, but like I do prefer some of his more earlier stuff.
It's more raw, but you gotta remember through the times, you gotta kind of hold up because of what's allowed.
I feel like
and what's not. I guess
not to say this in a negative way or even a positive way. I feel like right now he's doing more. He does more of like, it's less like jokes and more of like he's making points and making them funny.
That's exactly what he's doing.
Whereas before it was like, I got these jokes or these funny stories or concepts or, you know.
I like how he ties it in.
I mean, they're all wonderful. You know, I mean,
yeah.
It's all great. You know, and I sometimes like, it's like when I go to watch him now, it's almost like I'm not necessarily going to watch for comedy.
Yeah, I might go watch a story or a statement, or I like the deliverance of the whole thing. I that's a good analysis.
Like I know he's not gonna like I'm not saying I'm not gonna laugh or anything, but it's gonna be it's gonna be like I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna think about it. Like it's almost like a podcast in a way.
It is
in a way like he's gonna
say some shit that's funny. I'm gonna laugh, but then I'm gonna think about it.
Like, because he's not just saying it because it's funny. He's saying it's like it's almost like it's an analogy, or he's like trying to just explain what he means by that.
He's like disguising points under jokes.
Yeah, no, it's like I said. I think you'd. That's why I think you'd also like if you like that. I think you definitely would love George Carlin. You definitely would love George Carlin. He's got a wonderful bit, which I like to tell people all the time.
I gotta give him like you said, I gotta give him a watch. I feel like I love new shit all the time. I love new, just digest, because I'll binge watch it. Like your podcast, I was binge watching that. I was watching all the other
Appreciate
shit.
You.
But okay, so a question. So they don't know, but I know. You are the co-host, or are you the co-host, or are you the owner of the Booth Talk?
Well, I would say
podcast?
I'm the host of Booth Talk.
So you're the host, Cash Money B.
Sometimes, I don't know if there's really been a co-host much. I'm not a host. I'd like to be a co-host every now and then. Sometimes I don't like to do all the talking.
I mean, invite me on.
I'll say we definitely got to get you on. So we've been doing Booth Talk. They were doing, because they did a season 1. Which was, I don't know how many episodes it was. It was kind of like, in the early stages of setup, in their place. And they had, it was Ben's, one of Ben's friends was the host. But, he couldn't, always do it and everything. Mm. So when we got to the studio, which is part of like this warehouse that he's working out of, we were able to make a permanent setup, and he asked me, would you like, I'm looking for a host. And I was like, oddly, I've been looking to do a podcast. I was thinking about trying to set up a podcast just because I figured it'd be a good outlet.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, perfect. I think, it was a perfect match. So we are on the second season together. We did one season, and now we're halfway through the second season.
So how many episodes do you do per season? And I'm glad you answered my question because I was going to ask you how did it start, but you kind of just told me. So
I want to say 20. I want to say 20.
20. Now, do you normally just have guests on, and what does the booth talk about necessarily?
You know, the booth talk is kind of started with music because Ben produces music.
Okay.
And he does a lot of music videos. That's how that's a lot of stuff we started on. You know, we do filming also, you know. We've been doing some more story, like narrative films, but also we kind of started with the music videos. And I like doing music videos. They're a lot of fun to do. But so it started with like just bringing on the artists that we were doing for the music videos. You know, hey, do you want to jump on the podcast, get a quick interview? But since we're also in the film, it's like, well, who we got for film, you know? And then it's also like, well, hey, you know, we want to. It's interesting. Just have anyone on. You know what I mean? Like, it's you know, it's talk.
I agree.
You know, we had a guy who does. Well, he also went to our film school, but he does I guess he breed. I think there's some breeding involved. He does some breeding and like selling and teaching about reptiles and everything. So we brought like a snake, and it was awesome. You know?
I need to talk to them. See, I need to get like y'all. See, y'all kind of have like that. Maybe I adopted y'all format even like before I even like looked into your podcast, was to bring on multiple like just all ranges of people around and just.
We've stolen everything from you know, like I like to, you know, I obviously like the Joe Rogan idea of just bringing on anyone you think is interesting to talk to, and then I like to think about like I was kind of trying to do like Andrew Schultz's podcast.
Oh, the
Flagrant.
Brilliant.
Oh, Brilliant, which is the one with Charlemagne.
Yeah.
But he's got I was watching a little bit. I've seen a few of that one, but I was watching also the Flagrant. I think it's called Flagrant 2, maybe. But it's that one, and also Pat McAfee's. Podcast. What I love about those is how it's not just two people, it's multiple people talking.
Everybody got
and Schultz is like that. Flagrant's a little bit like that because it's got him and another guy, and then there's the editor, the cameraman, and then like usually like someone do probably something else, whatever. But and you got another camera seeing them. You have the name, like the real setup lit cameras, but then you have like another camera showing.
I love everything. That. And I want it now. Is that the end goal? Because I know you say you pick parts.
We're kind of working towards that. You know, we've got like I think we've got the setup. I think we might have like we've been working on getting mics for everyone, or just finding a good position for we got an extra boom. Where can we put the boom where we can get the most sound? Or I think we've had a few where we've set up another camera and gotten like, you know, because Ben will be, you know, kind of controlling stuff, and sometimes we'll get a camera on him talking, or we'll get the camera on Shane who's on the camera also.
Okay.
Try to get just I don't know if they've got it yet. Because I was trying to watch. I used to go back and watch the podcast, and then I was like, I can't listen to myself speak.
You don't like it, do you?
Not for too much, because like I will do it just at first because I was like I want to see, kind of want to critique myself.
Yeah, like how you talk and how you kind of just.
But then I was like you're not like when I went back to listen, I didn't find myself actually listening.
Really?
Because I found myself being like, you know what you talked about. Type thing. It's almost like when I go back and read something that I just wrote. I can't. I need to. If I write something, I usually don't reread it. I usually will give it to someone else to read because I want to get their opinion. If I read it, it's best if I read it a month later, weeks later, when I've forgotten about it.
It'll like annoy me if I go back and reread it. Like every paper I wrote in college, I've never read any of that shit.
I'll just like it's not even like I'm reading. I'm just like skimming it heavily, and I'm not reading what I wrote. I'm reading the story I'm thinking of.
Yeah, because it's like, I feel like we're a lot alike in that. Like when I write a paper, I type a paper, whatever. I know what I said because I was basically telling a story in my mind as I was writing.
Exactly.
So I feel like those papers, like when people write them, I mean, when the teachers read them, they go, it brings them right into a different zone. And then, because none of those papers I ever got a bad grade on.
Yeah. But at the same time, like when I'm doing that, I can't go back and reread it immediately because I'm going to read it as if I just wrote it, a story. I'm going to read the story I just told myself. I'm not going to read what I wrote on the page because there's typos and shit and everything on the page. But I don't read that. I'm just like, yeah, I know what this is. I know what happens here. And then I'm like, you didn't read it though.
For real. Oh, where do you? Okay, so the booth talk. Where do you see you got your setups? You're getting the mics for everybody. Where do you think your podcast is gonna go, and what are you trying to make it to be?
You know, I don't know if I know. I think right now we're just trying to, you know, it's great that I think it's great at least that we have a setup. You know, like where it's like we just like right now if we wanted to film something, it's just who's free, we're free, let's go, and all we do is turn the lights on, turn the cameras on, and go. You know, so I think that's great. I think though where we're going, I think just improving the studio, getting our own play. You know, because right now it's not that we don't have our own. It's like we're sharing it with this building that he also works out of. So like I think it's just upgrading things. You know, upgrading guests, upgrading the tech we have or the equipment we have, and just eventually being able to sustain ourselves doing it. You know, kind of like. I think they want to have it connect with obviously the music, like we've had it with the music production, the music videos. Obviously it'd be great to do a little trifecta there.
I see.
But it's also like I said, it's through it's Rogue Productions, through Rogue Production, which is Ben Murphy, my buddy Ben Murphy's company. So like he's got the real vision.
He's got the real vision. So he's the CEO.
Yeah, he's the CEO and. Like I said, he's great to work with. His father also is on board, and we have Shane, we have her name, and then we have Rhonda. We have a great crew, a great team of people.
You are so lucky because right now, you talked about your permanent setup. I'm just, as you can see, I just put everything up, the panels, everything. Just got the little stand right here, and I'm trying to make it a permanent setup. But with it being in my bedroom. Can only do so much, but I do want a crew, and I was talking to this other guy about it, and he does his thing on YouTube too, and I'm gonna have him up here. He's gonna be probably my second interview I'm gonna do. So each interview will be doing better, but I like this one.
Yeah.
But I need a crew because I would love a cameraman because I want to work on my craft, my quality. Like you say, you buying stuff, you making sure everything's straight so you can just get into it and put out more. And I'm trying to do that, but I have to learn how to be comfortable up here doing this, touching my guests mentally, you know what I'm saying? And really getting the information we need. Yeah. But I can't do that if I'm behind there, on here, because once I get everybody, this won't even be here.
See, that's how I was really. I feel that same way. That's how I was really before film school. It was like I was, we were doing skits on YouTube, and it was like...
I love them.
Oh man, I'm writing, I'm acting, I'm setting up the camera, I'm doing the lights, I'm doing the sound, I'm editing, I'm posting it, and it's like, you don't get to,
perfect one.
I mean, now, with the way, with TikTok and Vine and the way all that stuff is, it's like now, not only is it like, I guess people are perfecting it to some degree, but also you don't even need to for certain things because the low quality looks, and I have to sometimes tell myself, like, for comedy at least, low quality is okay.
It is low quality, yeah.
Low quality can be okay. It can be funny. It can work. And sometimes just low quality in general can work because you don't think about it. Like, there's so many things that I'll watch, and I'll be like, what? And when I'm watching things or listening to things, I try to ask myself, why are you enjoying this?
True.
What is it? What do you like about this? What don't you like about this? Are you okay with that? Would you be okay with doing that? Would you be okay with this room, the setup that he's in? Yeah. Well, no, you wouldn't be okay with it, but you're okay with him being with him. You like it that he has it, but you wouldn't be okay with it. No, you would be okay with it. But if you had it, you wouldn't think like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like those things where it's like, when it's yours, almost like you're not to say you think less. Well, you do think a little. Sometimes almost think a little less of it. Just like, oh, that's mine. We're working on it. We're doing this. And then you're like, but other people are like, holy shit, what do you got there? What do you like? I'll be like, oh, we're working toward. We've got a nice little set working on it. Other people, they come in, they're like, you got a goddamn set right here.
Yeah.
Like, we do actually. Yeah, we do. Yeah.
We do. Yeah, it's like you can always improve. Like my panels are fucking falling. I gotta fucking put more fucking sticky shit up there. But it is what it is. But it's
But like Ben, he started in these panels too. So he has a bunch of these too. And he started when we were in film school. He was in his dad's garage. And he built a recording booth, a sound booth, which is now in the warehouse that we're in. He brought it. But he started in his garage. You got to build to it. And like I said, film school was great because you kind of crew up a little bit, because you find someone. I just want to do camera. Okay, well, so we got Shane's our camera guy, and he's great. But he's not just the camera guy for the podcast. He's the DP because we're out when we do a music video. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean he's camera department. So when we're doing or when we just shot this. It's called Always Consequences. It's it was like a pilot for a TV show, and he's a DP. If we get an AC, he gets to bring in an AC. If depending on the budget, he runs the camera department. He goes through all the equipment, and everything. So it's kind of like and Ben's there. It's nice to when you can meet these people who are like because I feel like sometimes you might. If you're trying to find some people to do stuff, everyone wants to do maybe the same thing. Yeah. And that doesn't really work.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, we can't.
We can't all act.
We all can't be the host.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I guess in a way we can, but someone's got to specialize in something.
There'd be a lot of egos when it come down to doing stuff. You'll be like, okay, I might need you behind the camera. I want to be in front of the camera. But what if you're camera shy and they don't know it?
And we'll get people this happens in film school. The first thing you're asked in class, you'll say. What does everyone want to do on film? And one by one, right, direct. But then by the end of the year, you go, what does everyone want to do? I want to be a producer, a writer. Oh, I want a cameraman, gaffer, sound. Then you start getting more people because they start. Once you start doing all the, because you start doing all the positions. I went to Motion Picture Institute, MPI of Michigan, in Troy, and. No, I really like the school. Every place has. I can find things wrong with every place I go, just because that's how I feel like it's almost like a humor, it's like a mental exercise of just observational comedy in my own head, But so every place has their own quirks, but it's a wonderful school. A lot of great teachers. A lot of people, who they know their shit. Because they do it. They do it, or they did it, or they made money doing it. They made careers out of it.
So that program was better than the film program at CMU.
I wouldn't even call it a film program at CMU. I didn't go through the whole thing, but
it wasn't looking like it early.
I built sets. I used I learned to use a camera. I learned to use a red. Learned to set it up. Learned how to shoot a scene, how to write a scene, how to write a script, I got to do an audition. I got to cast people for an audition.
Did that make you love film even more and
Oh yeah, it was definitely getting to really go into it. Like I said, it was doing the auditioning was awesome. That was two of the coolest things was the auditioning, and then the end of the year we played for the graduation. You play your movie in a theater for everyone. All the families, everyone who comes to the graduation, you go to a movie theater and you watch everyone's film.
You gotta have me tap into that school, man.
Definitely. I'll let you. Honestly, they had an open house literally today, this morning.
Fuck.
I didn't even think about it. My buddy texted me about it. He told me. I heard about it 2 nights ago. But I'll let you know the next one.
Okay, bet, because I'm interested.
But no, it's in the script. So the first one was when we did the auditions, which I did for because you do 3 films. You do a silent film, you do a dialogue film, and then you do a thesis film. So we did for the dialogue film, we got to do the audition process. So they brought in now. I don't know if it's different because of COVID in terms of the process. Hopefully in years' times it changes back. But at the time they had, there must have been 200 people, 200 actors from around.
Really?
One of the guys was I don't know how far they all came. A lot of them were Michigan. I had a guy from Ohio. They're all around. And they come in, and there's a room. Everyone has their sides for all their films, and the actors come in, and they pick their they find they separate them by age and sex. So 18 people who can play this age range or whatever come over here, and you pick up a script and or pick up a side of a character. For me, I did Killing with the Joneses, which was my dialogue film, which. As actually, I'm currently writing turning into a TV show. I'm currently writing the pitch Bible and the episodes and everything.
When will we be dropping it on YouTube, or is it just
there is
for school?
The dialogue film which I'm about to speak about is I don't think it's on YouTube anymore. The remake, which was remade after we graduated, had a little more of a budget. Same premise, basically the same story. That is on YouTube right now, just under my YouTube channel, Brennan Bauer, and it's called Killing with the Joneses, which you can find just if you type in Killing with the Joneses, you should be able to find it.
Go subscribe.
So we did the auditioning process for that. I wrote Killing with the Joneses, which is a story. Well, the short is about a family of serial killers: mother, father, son, daughter. In this one, the son's older, the daughter's younger, and then the son. So the idea is it's dinner. Sam, the son, is having a girl he likes over for family dinner, and his family. They're kind of acting like he either didn't tell them about this or they just don't care. And they're basically getting to the point where they're going to kill her or they're going to make him kill her.
Interesting.
So we did auditioning for that, and I was like, I didn't know what to expect. I really didn't. I was like, we put him out, and I was like, First, I think the first 20 minutes, no one came up to audition for my film. And like I said, that's not, who knows what that didn't really mean anything, but I was just like, all right, I guess maybe this is, I knew I had I knew my stuff was a little more darker or out there, whatever. I was like, okay.
Cold feet out there, it's all right.
Let's see what happens, And then, suddenly, 5 or 6 people walked up and they're like, we read your script, we love it, we all want to read for a part. And I was like, And then it was like, wow, this is a whole different, people were like, oh, people really like it? Wait, what?
You started to feel like that guy. You had to poke your chest out.
I was like, huh?
You know what I'm saying?
I was like, people were into this? And then, for my thesis film, I kept telling, I had this story that I kept telling people that I had written. I hadn't even written it. I just was in my head. I just kept telling people this story. It's called The Noose Man. And I would tell people this, and they'd be like, that's a great one. I was like, and I would tell people, oh, do you want to make it? Do you want to make the film? I'll write it for you and you can make it. No. You got to make that. And I was like, no. And then enough people told me that, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll make that. And I was writing other ones for thesis films, but they were all like, it's good, but this is a bit too much. This is a bit too much to film. This is a bit, you don't got the budget. You don't got the, you can't pull this off right now. So then I was like, okay, I'll do that one. So I did that one, and it was a big hit. At the graduation, at the first showing in class, no one laughed. It was a rough cut. No one laughed. Now, granted, they had all seen it, I guess, because a lot of them were on the set. But no one laughed. And they were all at the end there. I was like, what you guys think? And they're like, it was good. It was really funny. And I was like, people usually laugh when things are funny.
Yeah.
It's usually an uncontrollable thing.
Yeah, it usually just comes out.
So I was like, okay. But I was confident in it, but I was like, I was going to be happy with it regardless. I was happy with it, but I was like, okay, not a good sign, whatever. And then it was graduation time. I was having dinner before with my family, and my dad was like, this isn't another one of your messed up films, is it? And I was like, what?
Wow.
What? And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, and not to say that he's against the humor. He's got a dark fucking sense of humor, and mine didn't just pop out of the sky.
For real.
But it was just, I was like, no, what are you talking? It's not, my films aren't like that, And my brother's like, Brennan, the film's got a main joke is about autoerotic asphyxiation, and I was like, okay, fair enough, maybe, So now I'm thinking that's true. That's what the joke is about. No one laughed. And the first screening, it's going to be an audience full of people. Okay. And then I knew my film was I knew the order we were going in, so I was following this film I worked on called, son of a bitch, what the fuck is it called? I don't know the name of it. I forget the name of it. But it was basically a feel-good movie where, a girl is struggling with whether to go to college or to stay home to take care of her mentally challenged younger brother with her family. But she meets God on the beach, on a walk, and he kind of, whatever. So it's like, and I was following that, and I was like, which is the story about, the Newsman's a story about a guy sitting at home enjoying watching TV. Newsman knocks on the door, says he has a noose, just come set up. The guy's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Newsman says it's in the script. What do you mean? I gotta do this. It's my job. I gotta do it. He says, all right, fine, go do it. So then he says, all right, I'm going to go set the noose. Just don't spill your soup that you're eating. Guy spills his soup, runs to the kitchen to go clean himself off after the newsman leaves. And as he's cleaning himself off, he's got his pants down because he spilled soup on him. He's cleaning himself off. His wife or his fiancée walks in the house and sees him pantsless next to a noose, wiping his crotch. And she just assumes the worst. And she's like, not again. You do this all the time. You told me never again, whatever. She leaves him. And he decides, so he breaks the fourth wall and he goes on. Now we're suddenly on a movie set and he tries to convince the director, the writer, and the producer to change the script so that she comes back to him.
That's a good deal.
So that was the one I did, and I played that in the theater, and it got a great reaction, a lot of laughter, and I've never felt higher. It was wonderful.
So you've clearly seen the downs, as in going to CMU and the film program being asked, and you've seen the ups, as in you going to the other school. What is it called again?
Motion Picture Institute, MPI.
MPI. And you've seen the ups, and you really they gave you that bigger push to get to film. What would be your advice to any upcoming filmmaker or anybody who wants to get into film? What would be any piece of advice to kind of set them?
You know, they say you don't need to go to film school. A lot of people say that. For me, I needed to because I really had no idea how to do it. And I felt like for learning things, I'm a quick learner, but I almost like to be spoon-fed certain things, like show it to me. Put it in front of me.
Me too.
And it's nice because you can commit this is a time in your life where you can commit to doing film. You can commit to it. Everyone agrees. We're making each other's films. So there is something about, I think, to be said about that. If you can afford it, if you can manage it.
Do it.
But I think my biggest advice I give people, one of my favorite things that I don't always live by it, but I try to every now and then, is don't shy away from a goal based on time, because the time passes regardless.
Okay.
You know, and every now and then I'll be like when I was younger, I'd be like, oh, that's good, that wouldn't happen till you're this old. Well, you're gonna be that old regardless. So you might as well be ready. Be set up for it. But I don't know. I mean, I will say the biggest thing that helped me, I think, for my film stuff or for my writing, for me, and this was just more specific towards me, was when I started writing, I would write with myself in mind, like in the story for somehow.
Okay. When
I learned to take myself out of the story,
like your personality traits in a character,
partially, or more like and it was a slight factor because I think at first I was kind of filming my own stuff, so sometimes I was in the skit.
Okay.
Or in the story, and I was trying to write funny. I'm going to try to write a funny story. I'm going to write this. And I'm not against acting. I'm also not the person I need to be the one acting. But I was like, I would always write with the idea that I would maybe be one of these characters.
Okay.
And that would make me hesitate or make me try to maybe write in a certain voice sometimes. Maybe try to make me seem, I want this to come off a certain way. Instead of just letting it be whatever it is. Okay. Letting it go with, and then when I took myself out of it, and I was like, you're not going to be in it. Now it helped that I had the availability to find, we had an audition process where I was able to find people who wanted to be in it, which blew my mind to begin with. When people were like, I want to do this. I'm like, I don't have to beg you.
I don't have to pay you.
I don't have to, well, yeah, at first at least.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
But I don't have to beg you. I don't have to beg you and hope that you're serious and really, hey, come on, no, we're still doing it. No, okay, we're still doing it. You want to do it and you want to be serious about it. So but that just helped me be that's how I kind of wrote The Newsman. I was actually got up really high and I went for a walk, but I was kind of just telling myself, I was like, take yourself out of it, completely get yourself out of the story and come up with just a random series of events that you have nothing to do with. And just you're watching it, and and then you'll find the characters that fit those people. If it's you, which I actually was in The Newsman technically, I played the director. I had a one-line thing, whatever. It was more of a, But if it's you, that's great. But that's not going to be the main way. That doesn't have to be the default, and that's not how you're going to think about it. You're just going to, if I kind of told if you can act yourself back into the story, then you deserve to be in it. But you're not going to write yourself in here. in that regard. I mean, unless it's like, unless that's an actual joke of like maybe I'm in it for whatever reason, which I haven't come up with that joke yet, but who knows? But in terms of like, I'm not gonna write a character for me like that.
That's a good piece of advice because I know when I sit down and I write, I always incorporate myself into one character, and then I'll almost put someone else there and be like, no, you're not doing it like I would. And it's bad to write yourself in the stories instead of just writing the characters and then go find the people. But my fault, my one downfall is the help. And I spoke about that. I don't have the crew. I don't have the people to.
True, and that's where that's the other thing I'd say is why film school is nice, because you will find those. You're gonna find those people. You'll be around, and people would always tell me this before I went to film school. Not people were in film school, just people would tell me this, and I was just like, whatever, sure. They'd be like, wait till you're just around like-minded people who want to do the same thing.
Yeah,
it's a big difference, because it might not be the people you meet immediately, but you'll meet more people through them, and I definitely would say,
just trickling down.
And even if you can't get into film school, you find, start working on sets if you know someone who goes, like I said, just like no one gets paid on these things. It's a lot of,
And a lot of people be thinking, oh, if you get me up there, he's going to pay. No. It's as much as exposure I'm giving you as much as I'm getting myself. So
yeah, that's the thing. I don't even tell people anymore, like, because no one wants to hear they're getting exposure, because no one's getting exposure.
Yeah, nobody's.
I just like, you believe in it, you don't believe in it,
Oh no, this will get promotion.
I just mean like,
I'll pay for this.
When I tell, I don't know, when we get that all the time. People, we get exposure. I'm like, I'm like, I don't know. I don't need the exposure. I need the money. But no one gets paid for anything. That's just the way. That's just the way it is.
That's just the way it is.
You gotta just accept, like, you gotta eat a lot of shit, especially in this industry, which is bullshit. But you gotta just keep working. Do whatever you can.
But for the hell of it, just getting up here and just having like regular conversations, because I'll be so phased in that I forget that that's there, and we'll just be talking. And I'm like, I can do this all day.
I'm talking more about like actual, just like in terms of film gigs, less about like, I love just doing these podcasts. Like these podcasts are like,
eat these up,
because it's like I'm talking like this anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about this at work.
Yeah, let's just film. We might as well film what we're
talking about. Yeah, instead of just talking off camera. And I just need that one other person. But I'm glad the setup is where it is, because now I can just sit down and go, cut it on. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's go. That's it.
But and there's something, and also if you just consistently do it, you can grow an audience over time.
You can.
And you'll see. What I love to see. And there's one guy on YouTube who he's particular because like his name is it No Life Shack?
I believe so.
Something like that. You know who I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
He does the music reactions.
Yep.
And what I love about it, I don't know if you notice it, you can see his room improve, his bedroom improve.
Uh-huh.
You can see like it go from a basic, empty kind of bedroom to
he got stuff.
He's got some nice stuff in there. Oh shit! Look, he get a new.
Look at that.
Oh, what the fuck is that thing?
Yeah.
Is it glowing now? Is it or sometimes you see him move to a new
new spot, and I'm like, you got some money now.
It's always nice to see that.
And I tell people that about my one thing to give away is just believe in yourself. Because me, I know a lot of my one of my major, maybe not major, but the problem is listening to outside noise. Because I'm my own like inspirator or inspire, or however you want to say that word. I can't talk right now, but I inspire myself, and my downfall is I'll beat myself up about this podcast. Even before you got here, I was like, oh my God, I gotta have everything right. Maybe he's gonna see it like this and he's not gonna like it. And then when you get out and you do it and you're like, yo, this is cool. I like this. This is the shit. So just believe in you can do it. Get up and do it. Don't procrastinate, because I also procrastinate. So
oh yeah, trust me.
You know what I'm saying? So if you could just get up and do it, it's a lot easier. And once you're doing it, it's actually fun. Like you'd be like, this is the shit I really want to do. So why am I beating myself up to start something that I really want to do?
It's really once you start doing it, then you're like, fuck, this is like that. It's hard to do with writing. I mean, you got to get in the habit of writing, which I'm not in that habit.
Me neither. I used to be during COVID.
If you can, like, I was in a habit one day of I got myself in, not one day. I had like a month or two where I was like, I told myself, I was like, because I had a project I had to finish. But I was like, you're gonna write for what was it? What did I tell myself? I think I said 2 hours, or it might have been whatever it was. It was like you're gonna write for just, or it might have been just 1 hour. So you're gonna write for 1 hour. Or no, it was two. I'm sorry, it was 2 pages. You're gonna write 2 pages, just 2 pages, every day. You can write more if you want to, but you don't have to. Once you get to 2, you can stop if you want to. Or you can, and there'd be I 9.
Easy.
You know, oh shit, that was okay. And then it's like, or some days it would just be 2. Well, don't force it. Just come, you know. I don't know. I do go back. Sometimes it's like with my own stuff, my own work. I'll be like, I kind of almost follow like that the Bukowski thing where he's like, you know, if it doesn't, where he's basically if it doesn't shoot out of you like a rocket, then don't bother.
Then fuck it. Yeah. I agree, because any project that I've ever really wanted to start, I finished. Like this, I told her, to my girlfriend, we doing this. I get, you know, we gonna come over, but when it's time, when it's lights, camera, action, it's time. And I'm sitting down, I'm fucking doing it. No matter what, and it gets you in that rhythm. And all I need is a rhythm like this every day. I want like one of these at least once a week.
Yeah.
I can post on like a Monday morning or a Monday afternoon, you know, little interview, and then some other things. I'll work into that. But you talked about the setups change. I used to have a green screen. I used to have I used to sit right here. It used to be like anime posters right here. I just had my laptop and a mic. Not this. Not the microphones. I used to have a different clip-on mic that used to buzz and shit. And
dude, I have a video. I don't know if it might be on YouTube, so I hope it's not. Where you can see we used. So this is before film school. I used an iPod with a headphone. You know, the headphone for the mic, and you can see it's in the background on the table, and it's. I didn't know about continuity. I didn't know about how to film a scene. It was so you could see go. We just move because I'm moving it every shot. Yeah,
it's crazy. Like it's crazy because like I haven't taken down like old videos like off YouTube. That's and clearly I was bugging and I didn't hear, but I was just like, let's put out content. I used to shoot so much reaction videos. Some of those just don't sound all that good. Like, but I wanna like show people like the evolution of me, and you'll see it in like my intros when I film it and shit. Like you'll see cutscenes and you'll be like, oh, you were there. Like my reactions was like film over there, and like the camera was over here, but I never zoomed in all the way because I didn't know how to do it.
You know what was really cool for me when I before I started before Booth Talk, when I was kind of working on doing my own podcast at first, which was kind of a similar setup in my in a room on my desk, and. I was like, I went, and I don't think you can find me. I don't think because I think Joe Rogan's off YouTube for at least full episodes. Mm-hmm. But I went back on YouTube, which is his very first episode of his podcast, and it's just like you would think it is, like for anyone's podcast. It opens up. It's like, is it on? It's like his webcam. Like, is it on? Is it working? I can't. Oh fuck, I can't. Fuck. It's like in a poorly lit room. Yeah. It's like I think there's even a screen like. Animations or whatever he had going on over like some dumb shit or whatever you know, and it was like bubbles or something, and you're just like, this is the biggest podcast of all time.
But you know, everything needs work. I feel like once I start, because I have a list of guests after you that's coming on, I'm like, okay, we're gonna get Brennan on, we're gonna get some boxing people, we're gonna get some coaches up here, we're gonna get some other YouTubers, some TikTokers with some views. Like, we gonna do our thing. So, like, I like these concepts, these fresh, new faces that people don't know. I love this. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this is my domain. I love the skits. I love the reactions. But I feel like this is, like, where I belong. Somebody was telling me, it was like, I feel like you do something else besides this. And I was like, I like talking. Why do y'all think I talk to y'all all day?
This is, very organized. I definitely would say, very professional. I don't even... I tried at first to try to write stuff out, and I got to the point where I was like, I feel too... For me, I felt too repetitive. Okay. That was because I wasn't... Like, I was just more like, I'm just going to ask them questions. But then I'll find myself talking to someone, and as they're talking, at least on my podcast, they'll be like telling me an answer. All I'm thinking is, what the fuck are you going to ask them next? What the fuck are you going to say when they're done speaking? I've got no idea what to say when they're done speaking.
Because they're not giving you
Exactly,
nothing.
They're not giving me anything.
So when I'm talking to you, you'll like answer a question that I might be about to ask. So you've answered a lot of shit that I was already gonna ask you. That's why like a lot of the questions I've asked you are not here. I just was like thinking like, okay, boom, ask him this, boom, ask him that, and then like here I went, okay, I wanted to take this interview very serious. I didn't want to underplay it. I don't want to downplay you because you are special here. Like if I bring anybody up here, all my guests are special. So I felt like this is what I needed for anybody, especially you. So I'm like, I need that because we gonna talk up a storm. And I was like, I want to stay on task, but not on task.
I can easily go off task. I can easily carry conversations to no man's land.
You do your thing. You do your thing.
It's what we got, you know.
And the length of this podcast included.
Free flow of thought is the way I operate. What I think, I say.
Yeah, and everything, like you said, like when I was like, okay, the questions, and we're gonna reel them in. Like a lot of this shit, we've been talking, and like everything that I wrote here, we kind of did unintentionally, but it happened anyway.
In fact, I feel like most things I say without finishing the thought.
Me too.
You know, I usually like start most things without having an idea what I'm saying, and then it's like, oh shit.
I don't even be thinking sometimes. Sometimes I'll just be talking. But the one thing I try to do in this interview, when I go back and I watch all of my clips and everything, when I'm gonna start actually clipping stuff and like just putting that on there after the podcast, especially when you talk about your advice and film school and all that. So you'll get that. The one thing I try to do when you're talking, I try to really listen to what you're saying. And I'm like, okay, what's the takeaway from that? What can I ask to piggyback off of what he talked about? And it's something I'm learning in interviews. It's like, ask the detrimental, the really and shit that people want to know about the person, but then piggyback off of what they talking about, like what somebody else would probably ask them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It helps. But we talked about the Coney for like 25, 30 minutes. Starting the podcast, and that'll be in there because we don't clip that out, but we'll clip out the intermissions and shit. We didn't have some funny times. We didn't work together in two different areas of the Coney, and it's crazy. But give me your top 3 funny moments from working there, because you know it be some times where you be pissed off, but it be some other times where the shit is just too funny where you gotta laugh at that shit.
Gosh, there was, you know. It's gonna be. I don't mean to make fun of people because it's gonna be at people's expenses, of course. But hey, it's people watching it. That's what people watching is it not?
That's what I'm saying. They wanna know.
I don't know. We had. Gosh, I don't know. We had one waitress. We had some interesting. I don't know. When I was with at Mount Clemens with you the one time. At the time I was considered the night manager. And there was the day manager, and we had, you know...
Heather.
No, it was...
Dawn?
Carrie.
I remember Carrie.
Carrie.
Yep. Carrie.
And...
Muffin top.
And Carrie, we had an agreement, which was like, you know, if one of us isn't here and anything goes wrong, oh well. Like, figure it out.
Facts.
Don't ever call me if I'm not here. I won't call you. You don't call me. Like, you can, like, you can give me a heads up for, like, you know, like, she'd give me a heads up, like, hey, this is your crew tonight. And I'd be like, fuck you. She'd be like, no, she's just like, this is your crew tonight. I'm sorry. You know, and I'm like, okay, but so best moment. No,
our crew was shitty, bro. It was good, and then it was bad.
But one of my best moments was, who was there? Who's waitressing? I believe Bree was one of the waitresses, R.I.P. I want to say Michaela was the other one. And I don't know who another one was. It might have been... What was that one guy's name? The guy's name. Not Mateo.
What the fuck was his name?
I just had it too. Shit. You know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
We'll call him Mateo. I don't think that's his name. It might have been. I have no idea. Fuck. I feel bad. You're a nice guy. I feel bad. I just had his name, too. I know I had it, and I lost it. And then Mateo popped in my head. I think that's wrong. Or he's just, right now, he could be screaming, I am Mateo, or I'm not Mateo. Or
whatever.
Or he doesn't know I'm even talking about him. Anyway, there was, so this guy comes in, homeless guy, I think he was obviously intoxicated. I'm not judging, if you're out homeless, I can't blame you. But Evan, Evan's such a generous guy, and we had the pay it forward board, but there's nothing on it. And Evan said, "Here, give him a $10 meal," which was basically covered at the time because they've raised the prices now. But at the time, that covered like a meal, any dinner, and a drink at the time. So he's like, "Okay, cool." So he got, I think he got like a fish dinner or whatever he got. Eats it, and it's like he's an old man with like a scraggly gray beard, not big, not skinny, just kind of medium, average. And he kind of gets up and he eats and he goes, "That was really good. I'd like some ice cream now." And we're like, I said, "Sir," I said, we're glad you liked it. We're not gonna, that's all we're gonna give. We're not gonna give you a dessert. We're not gonna give you ice cream. No, I'm sorry.
What you mean? He said y'all gotta feed him all the way. Y'all can't just give him. Yeah.
And he screams this and he goes, "Well, you can take your 3 flavors of ice cream and shove them up your motherfucking asses." And then storms off. And I turn around, I look at Bree and Michaela, and I say, and let's say Mateo, and I said, "Even the 3 of you don't know that there's 3 flavors of ice cream."
Yeah, bro, they don't know. The waitresses there just don't know shit. Like when you ask that bitch about what was it, about bacon or something? I forgot what her name was. But you asked her about the one brown skin chick. You asked her about some bacon or something. You was like, "Well, how much is this?" And she was like, "Well, how am I supposed to know?" It's like it's not like
I have told people when they say, "Oh gosh," I was like, I said you can go. At least one thing about the 23 store, I would tell people, I say you can go. You take 4 people, 4 friends. You each go to the 23 store. You each sit in a different section. Get a different waitress. I want you all to order the same thing. You're all going to get a different price. All those prices will be correct.
Bro,
and this was before they had the computer system, not when it was all by hand.
Yeah.
So it's a little different now. You don't really get that now. It's more, it's more uniform. You get occasional like small things like, "Oh, he charges 30 cents for onions, or I charge 50. Well, you charge 75. It's like I don't know.
Well, I don't know what we charge anymore.
It's a goddamn mess. And but even when I was there with the first time, I would literally talk to like Evan, like, do we charge for I'd ask him, do we charge for onions or do we not charge for onions? Like, you charge for onions. Like, if they want, gotcha. Side of onions or diced onions. Okay, sure, gotcha. 30 cents, I think it was at the gotcha. Charge for onions. Gotcha. Okay. Tell everyone, at night, we charge for onions. Why do you charge for onions? Well, because we get charged for onions. Onions aren't free to us, therefore they can't be free to you. Sorry, but in the morning shift, he would tell them not to charge them.
That's so stupid. That place is such so dysfunctional, and it just because it's where it is too. We get all types of different customers. So one, you might get a sassy asshole from up the street, New Baltimore, and she thinks she's supposed to get first class treatment, and then you got on the other hand, you got homeless dudes walking in there, and I got a story. It was a Sunday morning, and everything went wrong. Everything that could have went wrong did go wrong. I'm busting my ass. I'm tired of shit. I'm sweating and shit. Your shirt be stuck. And the table was like, "Sir," and I ignore them. I'm like, they're like, "Sir." I'm like, what the fuck they want? Turn around, take out the AirPod. I'm like, what's going on? They're like, "We know you working hard and all that, but it's a shit on the floor." No, and then when they first told me, I was already mad, so I laughed. I said, "Bro, you playing?" He was like, "No, real shit. It's a shit over there next to that big table." Bro, the dude at the counter, it was a homeless dude, and he got his little walker thing now, and he always walk like that, right? He was sitting at the counter. He's like, "I'm gonna go to the bathroom." I'm like, "All right." That nigga get up, he jiggle his pants leg, and drop the shit on the floor and go to the bathroom, and came back like he ain't do what he just did.
And admire the boldness.
You gotta be shitting me, bro.
Literally.
On a Sunday, we busy.
He was shitting you. You're shitting himself. That is, oh my God.
I had it that day. You got another story to top that?
To top it, I got other stories. I don't know what to top it. I mean,
I got another one in me. You want to hear mine first?
Let's hear yours, because I just forgot about mine. I'm trying to remember mine again.
So this was pre-COVID. Late summertime, maybe August. I was there. It was me, Eggshell Steve, my friend Jason, and I'm out there busting tables. We busy, you know what I'm saying? Packed in that bitch. I'm moving around, and this black couple come in. They always come in, and they always be arguing, right? And then there's this white couple also sitting over there. So the black couple sit in the back, and they arguing. It's a little loud, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not personally telling nobody be quiet, because who the fuck am I to tell you to shh? If I work with you, I'll tell you to quiet that shit down. But if it's them, I already know how they get. I ain't finna for this job. Fuck all that. So I'm standing there, and you look at the bickering, and I'm across the restaurant this time. So I'll go over there and see what's up. So the white dude gets up because he's there with his son and his girl or whatever. And he was like, man, y'all over here cussing and all that. You know what I'm saying? Can y'all keep it down? He was like, who the fuck is you talking to? I was like, oh, shit. I said, just be gone, bro. It's too early for this. It was like 10:30. No, it was about 11, 12. So niggas had been up and had their orange juice, so they was with all smoke.
Everyone was energized.
It's the Coney. It's spark up beef. So the dude goes sit back down. He's like, I'm just saying, I'm eating with my kid, whatever, you know what I'm saying? You cussing and all that. He's like, bro, shut the fuck up. Ain't nobody telling you. So they get the bickering. I go in the back for a second. Apparently, it escalates more. Because I only dropped some dishes off and came back, right? So they in the back now, right? So they really arguing. It's causing a scene because we packed in here. It's causing a scene. So everybody stopped eating. They like, oh, shit. So apparently, the two chicks get into it, right? And the white girl called the black girl. She was like, I fucking hate niggers. So dude was like, you know what? He was like, I ain't about to make no scene in this bitch. I'm gonna just beat your ass outside. Come outside. Dude was like, he was like, what? It ain't even. He was trying to keep it down. You know what I'm saying? The black dude get up. I dead ass you, bro. Real shit. He took the motherfucking to-go cup of pink lemonade that I gave him. He took that bitch right upside his head. I'm talking juice, ice, paper went everywhere. All on customers' booths and shit. I had to go wipe it off niggas' booths. I had to take some food back. And then, bro.
Oh, that's horrible.
After that, he was like, no, come on, so I'm about to push. So he got the kid in his arms. No, this is before he picked the kid up. He pushes the dude from I'm talking, you know where that TV is on the side, on the right side? All the way to the front to the other TV. He pushed the fuck out his ass. I was like, it's going to be death when he go outside. It's going to be, somebody save him. So he was like, chill out, man. And he grabbed the kid, for protection, I guess, and went behind the register. That nigga was where we was at. He was like, I didn't even say it. I said, damn, he threw his chick under the bus. He was like, yeah, that's her.
Well, she's a wild card. You can't have that.
Yeah, she pulled out a trump card on
no one talks about it. That's not white privilege. That's like pretty women privilege. Thinking you can get away with just saying anything.
She wasn't pretty though.
Well, she might think she is.
She might get
in her circle. She might be.
She left the husband.
That's rough. Goddamn.
He was finna get his ass beat for what she said.
See,
come on, man.
I'm not saying you hit women, but that's an argument to make it okay. I mean, in terms of you can't go around saying you can't just go around saying anything without consequence.
Yeah,
right?
Cause Steve was over there trying to break the fight up, and she said, "Nigga," he went just like this.
She dropped that
She dropped the N-bomb like she had protection, like
exactly.
She had FBI outside.
She knew she was like.
Some nigga saving me off this one.
It's she said that I know you're gonna hit him.
Bro, that nigga was finna get his ass beat all through the restaurant. I was fearing his life. I'm like, I stopped doing my work. I ain't gonna cap. I had a towel in my hand. I was like, I ain't recording nothing. I'm just like. And then after they left, everybody continued to eat. That's the Coney. All right, give me two more because
I haven't had anything like that. I didn't have anything like that happen. I said I had that one. No, see, my more stuff was weird. I feel like with Gus, and or like just watching Gus with customers, you know, or I don't know. One time, this isn't even like anything crazy. It was just it was a busy day. I'm a busboy. I'm working. I'm doing bussing. They got a drive-thru. I'm doing the drive-thru. I'm doing cashier. And then I look over and the dishwasher's falling behind. I jump over. I start helping the dishwasher. I'm scrubbing dishes. Gus walks back and he goes, "You wash the dishes like a bitch." He's walking. I was like,
yo, when he say stuff in that accent, he pulled up like last week and Evan was making coleslaw and he was like, you know his voice, you alright? I was like, yeah, good.
It's like a little raspy, it's a little crackly. You know, it's like he's really not trying. It's almost like he doesn't want to speak.
He don't want to say. He don't want to speak English for real. You know what I'm saying? And he like, where's Evan? I'm like, oh, he back there making coleslaw. Coleslaw. But that shit killed me.
He does always respond like with a question. Like he always questions whatever you say to him. Just respond.
Yeah, coleslaw. He was like, did he kill anybody yet? I was like, bro, he doing his son foul, bro.
I told you one of the best things was with because he sits in the same spot every day. At least he used to sit in the same booth, which was right in front of the register at 23, and it's a square, the building. So it's like so like right to his right on the wall of windows or whatever is this guy, and he calls the waitress over and he goes, "Hey, I've been, everyone who's been there has been coming here 20 years. I've been coming here forever, and I get the nachos. I get these nachos every time. I love them. Today though, they seem to be stale. They seem to be stale. Is there something? Can I maybe get? Do we have maybe some maybe fresh chips I could get, or if not, could I maybe get something different? And the waitress was like, "I'm gonna go ask Gus. I'm gonna go see, I have to," because everyone was so terrified of doing anything that wasn't approved by him. I'm gonna go ask, so I'm gonna go ask him. So they go over and they're like, "Gus, do you mind if they explain it to him?" And to Gus, to the waitress, but in full volume. Gus is at his seat. I'm on the far left of the restaurant. This is how the customer's on the far right. Gus is closer to the customer, but I hear Gus perfectly. So obviously the customer hears him perfectly, or anyone else in this restaurant. And he goes, "You don't like it? Get the fuck out." So the guy's like kind of stunned a little bit, and he's like, oh. He gets up and leaves. Gus gets up, goes to the kitchen. I'm watching it because I know he's right next to me. Goes in the kitchen, grabs the chip. "They're stale." I was just like, yeah! Yeah, they're stale. That's what he said. Yes, they're stale.
You be that dumb, bro.
Yes.
I would rather put up with that than put up with this next to it, bro.
No, like I said, it's more entertaining. It's more just like...
It is entertaining, bro. People see, y'all don't have wild shit. It was this drunk dude. He came up there. We got a counter full. It was like half the house full in there. You know what I'm saying? Counter full. Just one drunk dude just mosey on in there. I was, oh shit. Okay, let me stand out here and see what's up. Because they use me as I'm the bouncer, apparently. I'm the big black guy. You get his, you go over there and tell them kids they too loud.
Marvin, you tell him.
You tell them shut the fuck up. I'll be like, I'm not telling them shit.
Marvin, you say.
Bye.
If you want to go outside and get physical.
I only told one nigga that he ain't want parts. So
go tell him I'm gonna kick his ass.
I'm standing at the pop machine on the far right behind the register, and this dude, he's just in there. He's like, he grabbed his pants sagging and shit, and his dick, out, not out, but you know what I'm saying, you sagging meat, your boxers right there. So he starts leaning up on people on the counter. Like I said, pants sagging low as hell. damn near putting his dick on niggas' shoulders,
Jesus.
asking people
for food and money.
He asked one homeless dude. He put the dick on him first. He said, "You bout it, cuz?"
What? That would terrify me.
I said, "Bro." Then he wasn't done. Then he goes to the right.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Put the dick on somebody else.
You
bro.
bout it, cuz. Someone puts their dick on your shoulder. You bout it, cuz.
You bout it, cuz. Ask Evan, bro. When you go to work, and when we see Evan again, ask him. Be like,
You bout it, cuz.
You bout it, cuz. He gonna know exactly what you talking about.
Oh
bro,
my God.
Terrorizing just customers who coming up there with their kids. Now you got dick on your son's shoulder.
Did you kick him out?
Me?
Yeah.
Didn't have the justification to do all that.
Yeah, he was. This morning, a lady was clipping her nails in the lobby.
Her toenails?
I just heard the. So, I waited 1-2 minutes. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to kick this lady out. Luckily, she finishes before I have the time to go ask her politely to get out. And then I go and send someone to clean that shit up. And the pile of nails that were in the lobby is literally disgusting.
I ain't gonna lie, I do chew my nails. I bite them bitches.
Well, you don't cut them in the lobby.
Yeah, you don't leave
what
them.
if that got in someone's food?
You don't leave piles of it.
Me
toenail flavor,
and be
cuz.
like,
It's good.
I got a quick story. It was more of it wasn't like a whole mess. It could have been, luckily, but it was quick. More like, what the fuck? Busy lunch shift goes by. I'm bussing, doing some takeout, whatever. Not really, whatever. We're towards the end of the lunch, kind of dying down. People leaving, cleaning up. Get a phone call. Hey, Gus is 23. How can I help you? Hey, I was just up there for lunch, and I believe I left my gun in the booth. Did you find a gun? Did you happen to find a gun?
Did you happen to find a strap?
And I was like, and I'm the one that cleans the booth up, and I'm like, no, we didn't find a gun. He's like, you sure? I said, I'm positive that I didn't find a handgun in the booth while cleaning the booth. I didn't
I would have probably remembered.
I accidentally kneeled on. You know what? There was this. Oh God, the booth was really uncomfortable when I kneeled on that one spot. And I did blow my other knee off actually when cleaning off that one back table.
I remember pulling the trigger earlier, so yeah. I think you might have left something, cause. So we're getting into the last, I believe, 5-10 minutes of the podcast, and I just want to thank you for coming up again.
Appreciate being on.
Being my first real interview.
Happy to be here.
Yes, thank you. We're getting into I would call it the RRQ, so the rapid random questions.
Okay.
We're getting into that segment, and these are just rapid, of course, and these are random questions that I just want to ask the person I'm interviewing.
Okay.
So, the first question would be, I don't know if you saw, but during COVID, they were releasing a bunch of sightings of these aliens and all these little ships and shit in the sky. You believe in all that?
Oh, absolutely. First off, did you read the report, right?
Yeah.
So how they had 144 different sightings that they were studying, and 140, and they discovered that one of the 144 sightings was a weather balloon. The other 143, they have no fucking idea. And they said 18 of them display technology that the U.S. government cannot explain. I saw a UFO once.
When was this?
2015-ish. I was driving in my sub. It was near Selfridge Air Base. It was 23. The Taco Bell in 23 in 94? Right off that exit. There's a side road right there, Dover. Dover, Donner, Dover, either way. Donner. Anyway, I lived in a sub off there, which is not too far from Selfridge, like in terms of like how much space they have for their everything, and they're taking off. There are a lot of planes and stuff, but I know what a plane is, and I've seen a lot of planes. Cause I live in Harrison Township, which is also by Selfridge, and I constantly get them taking off and landing above my head. Like I see the full plane, you know. Anyway, this was like 2015. I was driving. I look up in the sky. I guess in my car in the sky. Imagine that wave. Obviously, perspective isn't depth isn't the best, but imagine that wave is kind of the height of, I guess, of the horizon of the trees and everything in a way, kind of like up. Above it, three in the formation of a triangle, 3 large glowing orbs of light. White, blue, bright, 3 giant ones. Gone, blink of an eye. Across the whole horizon, like in a flash. Very large.
Think it's Elon Musk's on that fucking?
No, we don't got anything that goes that fast. And if it was a meteor, we would be dead. Wow. Shooting stars aren't that big. I've seen plenty of shooting stars.
So because you've seen that, you believe them more, or did you?
I believed before. I definitely believed before. The universe is too big. It's too, you know. I love, you know, those movies. I love the documentaries where they're, you know, like I said, some of them are so crazy. Like Ancient Aliens is, some of it's so crazy. You're like, this is crazy. And other parts is like, oh, that's a good point. You know, like when they say, oh, you pull out these ancient texts and you hear them say, a metal winged bird breathing fire came down. Doesn't that sound like a plane? If you didn't know what a plane was, you're like, yeah.
Or a fucking dragon.
You know? Or something, but then the next episode would be like, Einstein was an alien. And I'm like, okay, hold on.
Yeah, and I talked about that on my first podcast that I ever made. Like, we as people don't make sense. And they talk about it. Like, all the other organisms that's here. Why am I perfectly suited to be here under the weather conditions? Because remember, dinosaurs was here. So the atmosphere was different. So they had to go, okay, the planet's finna be fucked up, right? Mm-hmm. It's finna get these meteor showers. It's finna change. The atmosphere is gonna be like this. Why don't we implant these things that we create that can procreate with each other, and let's see how they can work. Let's see how they can develop. But we're only gonna give them a percentage of their brain to use so that they don't get where we're at, because they are our creation. They're our because they talk about this God. So okay, so if God is real and He made so. Is this God that they're talking about the one that really came down and like created us? You know what I'm saying?
You've heard about the thing about the Anunnaki?
No, I haven't. Please educate me.
So, I think it's what is the name of it? There's the first civilization that they found. You can find this on Ancient Aliens. They talk about this one. This is a thing that comes up a lot. But you can find episodes like dedicated to this type of thing. Where it's like Mesopotamia or Babylon, like a very, I forget the name that they use, a very early civilization, like what they consider to be the first civilization with writing and everything. They talk about the Anunnaki, which are a race from this god race from the heavens that came down and turned monkeys into people to use them to mine gold.
I wouldn't say that that's like something I would believe in, right. But the belief system that somebody came down, because I don't think, because they say everything is different, right? So the DNA between monkeys and humans are different. So I feel like everything.
Well, they're saying like aliens came down to alter, like mix monkey DNA and their DNA. Now, you know, then like I said, there's so many different conspiracy, not conspiracies, but like these funny, like interesting theories, and they're all like that. They're all just fun to listen to and fun to think about. But sometimes I'll hear like a bunch of different ones, and I'm like, wait a second,
for real,
you know, what's the, like, I don't know, when I think about that one though, I think like, well, I mean, that would make sense why people like gold.
Yeah.
Like, why else would the fuck would we want gold?
What was mine in the fucking shiny?
Unless you were programmed, or unless you were like, you know, bred. They need to get the gold.
You need to get the gold. Yeah,
you know, I don't know. There's just, but like, cause like, people are always like, oh, NFTs are worthless. What the fuck is gonna do? What are you gonna do with gold? The hell you been doing with gold? Oh, what am I doing with the JPEG of a monkey? What are you doing with that block of gold?
Maybe they really wanted all of that gold, and they're like, okay, we're gonna send you guys down there to find it.
I think in the you'll find in the ancient aliens they talk about like the reason they wanted the gold is apparently because it was to help strengthen their atmosphere or something and blah blah blah, and but then I found there's another documentary I watched where they talk about the origin of the moon, where the moon come from, and they were saying, well, the moon actually is they said there's this tribe in Africa or whatever that's got this old story where they talk about there was a time before the moon, which was 12,000 years ago or whatever. 12,000 years ago, there was no moon. And they say the earth wasn't tilted, it was straight up. And that's because it was straight up, there were no seasons. Everything was like one big rainforest. Except they said in the middle of the earth was more, where it's the densest and the most humid, like most mist or whatever. There's it was like mist covered the world or whatever. And they said what happened was a reptilian alien race brought the moon, which is a giant dragon egg that was drained out and made into a space station to watch humans. And the reason they talk about this is like how the moon is the exact perfect size and shape and at the perfect distance to block out the sun.
It doesn't like.
And there's also, and I also know how true some of this stuff. Some of these are just statements they make, and you're like, well, who did they say this? Is this true?
But it makes sense though.
They say that they claim that astronauts have said that the moon rings like a bell and that it sounds hollow or whatnot. I don't know. And you hear all these different like, oh, I'm former in the CIA and I saw this and they told me. It's like
there's so many stories.
You always hear these things.
Make connections.
And you're like, that sounds great. But yeah, you hear it and say this, and then you hear something similar. You're like, wait a second, I see where that gets here. And sometimes it's not even like. So then there's all that, and sometimes it's not even the conspiracy theory that it's part of. Like, it's not even like an alien thing that I hear something that's like kind of a connection. So like I'm talking about, let's say the moon thing. So they say 12,000 years ago, blah, blah, blah. Well, when the moon came, it fucked up, it greatly changed the atmosphere because obviously when the moon entered, it would disrupt a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
And if you tilted the earth and whatnot, and obviously it changed a lot of things. So anyway, but I found this interesting though. So they say that's like 12,000 years ago. Watching some of Joe Rogan's podcasts when he's got like these people like Randall Carlson on who isn't necessarily on there talking about aliens. Well, I don't think he talks about aliens really, but he's on there talking about like maybe ancient civilizations at best, but more about like he talks a little bit about like glacial records and like different like weather and climate patterns and different periods of time. I don't know if you've watched them; they're really interesting, but he talks about, him and Graham Hancock talk about where they say there's evidence of 12,000 years ago there being a cataclysmic event such as an impact on Earth. But we're talking about all these crazy conspiracies or I don't even technically theories and whatnot.
Theories are always good to have on the cast. Not too long, but just enough to hear another person's mind go where it usually wouldn't go if you didn't have something you normally wouldn't see. You know what I mean? But the alien shit, let me just go ahead and piggy off that with another alien, Elon Musk. How you feel about his brain chip? Would you actually get it? And how much do you think it should be worth?
It's potentially, I mean, if you don't even take apart, actually, first I want to quickly say is when we're talking about all the crazy theories about aliens. Is there anything crazier than the theory of just one day we all just woke up here? One day we all just woke up and now you're on this planet.
Like I said, our existence don't make sense.
This whole fucking thing's crazy. But the chip. If we don't even go to the part where people, normal people like me, everyday people, would get it in their brain for some type of fun or benefit outside my normal body function. If say that never happens, it just becomes what I think the basic things that they're talking about, which is to help people regain sight and cure paralysis and like that should be limitless in terms of or like, you know, what it would be worth in my opinion. Now, I hate to say that because that means it might be really expensive, so it shouldn't be. It should be so, you know, it's one of those things that's so worth so much that it should be available to anyone. You know, it should be one of the, you know.
But that means only the people with hella money can get something that can.
Which, you know, that's like I said, that's hopefully not the case, or at least not the case for long. You know, if you check out Ray Kurzweil on YouTube, you know, he talks a lot about predictions of the future, and he's got a track record of being pretty good on these predictions. He believes a lot of this, you know, a lot of like manufacturing and like problems like that in terms of lack of resources isn't going to really be an issue in the future, like, you know, like we think it is going to be. Like you're gonna be printing. You have like almost, I don't know if you said print food, but like it's gonna be like
copy
very
food.
like things are gonna be so abundant that it's gonna be that, you know, they're not gonna really worry about prices.
So it's gonna be like some cloudy worth of chance of meatball shit.
Could be. I mean, you never know. I mean, if you look at what Elon Musk's brother does, which is the vertical farming, that stuff's pretty interesting. Where they're doing they're putting farms in storage, like in shipping containers.
That's nice.
And they're doing, it's like, I don't know if it's not hydroponics, but it's like with lights or something, and it's yeah, and you should check that out. It's interesting.
I have to look at that because I think I read about something like in my biology book because I have like a new one, like a new edition, like a 2018-19 edition. So
I read all the books. All the books I read were from the 90s, early 2000s. So everything's out of everything they taught me is it's so done. It's, you know, I still believe that the sun revolves around the earth. That's what they taught it.
What if that chip can like cure cancer and shit? Do you think?
Well, I mean, I don't know about. I mean, that would be interesting. I don't know if it's going to cure cancer because I don't think. I mean, I think the way they're talking about it is like, you know, it's supposed to like help because it's supposed to help the electrical signals in your brain in terms of if they're not firing right for vision and things like that. Or if you saw the one video where they had inside the pig. They had the pig on the treadmill, and the pig was walking on the treadmill, and they had the video of, like, the frame of the pig as the computer saw it, like the joints and everything. And the computer was predicting what movements the pig was going to make, like what it was about to do. It was just guessing, and it was 97% accurate. And they were saying that shows them that they could potentially find a way to make a stint for like to fix spinal injuries, you know, because it's good at deciphering these signals, what you know, what the brain is trying to do, what it wants to, what these signals mean for the brain to do, by knowing how it wants to move it, you know. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then I don't know if you saw the thing with the monkey where they had the monkey playing a video game. With the joystick, and then they had a chip in his brain, and they eventually disconnected the joystick, and the monkey kept playing the video game because it was playing in his head.
Interesting. That'd be cool. I feel like that'd be cool but dangerous.
Would I get one? Potentially. It definitely. First off, they're talking like the way they're gonna. It would be like a same day procedure type thing. You walk in and walk out. Like they're talking like it'd be quick. Like they got like a robot, like they're building a robot just to do the procedure. That's another thing they're doing. Would I get it? Like I say, when I say potentially, it would be like, you know, this would be at this point it'd be quite the shift in the culture and the way we think about it. It wouldn't be, oh, I might be early for some people, but like I feel like it wouldn't be something that I wouldn't I would do lightly. It would be.
That'll be a huge
hella thought out.
Yeah.
You know, hella thought out. But at the same time, by then, it would be like something that's past what I'm even talking about for that. It would be something that's meant for people to like connect to their, I say phone, but like, you know, whatever form of whatever we consider the internet type thing to be at that point, you know, trying to connect them through that. And it's almost going to be a mixture of, you almost will have to do it in a way. You know, or maybe it'll make something. Maybe it'll be a temp. Who knows? But you know, but they also showed that you can get it removed. You know, they showed with the pig experiment that you can remove the chip, and they're still fine.
I would like, you know what? If they give us a chip that like a chip that can like enhance your abilities for like whatever your natural gift is, and then increase it by like 5%, 10% or whatever, I definitely could get that.
I mean, like imagine just if you could Google things without ever having to pull out your phone or type or say anything. You just would sit there and think, and
that'd be.
It's in your, you know it, or you think, or I don't know how you'd experience it.
If they doing all that, they might as well allow me to play music as well. Like there should be a Spotify, YouTube up there, like where my head just bumping like I'm high. I would never get high.
I wonder how that. I mean, like, because in a way, couldn't they just send electro? I don't know. I don't know enough about the brain in that regard.
If they could just send a tune up, like they
just send the song or some way of an electrical signal to whatever they need to in your brain, and it would almost be like an hallucination in a way, but it wouldn't be an hallucination because you're controlling it.
Yeah, you like turn the volume down, like on your, like you just like kind of like do this to your ear or some shit like that, and like custom that shit. I'd pay 50 racks to get that.
You don't even have to do this. You probably just make it
down. Yeah, you just be like, turn the volume down.
Or just feel it like.
You'd be like, it's too loud.
Yeah.
Right there.
Like yes. Someone comes in starts talking to you, and you're just like, as you're like trying to get the volume go up.
Yeah, you're like, just when I had it right. So my last question for you, after having you on my first real interview, small town. I mean, not small town, but late night talks with Marv. Will there be any future content? And if so, what would you like that to be?
I mean, I'm definitely gonna have, there's a lot of stuff that I'm working on in terms of they're not my projects necessarily, and I guess I'm in a way a co-creator on some. Just helping out on a lot, very involved in others. They're going to be coming really next year for some, a couple years, next few years for the others. I don't know how much I can really say on them because, like I said, they're not fully mine to really disclose.
Well, what are you working on that'll be dropping on your channel?
On my particular thing myself. Yeah. There is talks about potentially. I have a short film that we've talked about possibly going to production. There's some, that's particularly, a little bit of a just, will I get the budget? Is that what I'm planning on, in addition to my personal life? Because it's, it's going to be it's a passion project. So it's going to be like, do I want to, for myself, do I want to budget this project right now? Or am I going to try to do something else? Not necessarily even project-wise, just with my life. I'm looking for possibly get my own place eventually, but regardless of that. But if not, I do have a project, or even I can probably do it somewhat cheap, but I have a project in mind, which is, I guess in the vein of the Newsman, I'd like to say, at least in terms of, I think, the humor. It's kind of not really fourth wall breaking necessarily, but like just like kind of dark humor with... I guess I give the general outline of the story. Why not? It's a man gets stood up on a blind date, and he makes and the waitress kind of tries to cheer him up, tells him it's 11:11, make a wish. He tries to make a wish on him, makes a wish to himself, but God does not like him, and God says, "Fuck this guy. He's not getting any wishes." In fact, not only he's not getting any wishes, but the girl who's just told him about these 11:11 the wishes, she's gonna get her boyfriend's gonna die. And she's going to get AIDS from her next lover. And
can I play God in that?
I'm going to potentially. I will tell you why potentially afterwards. Why potentially not afterwards. I'm not going to say the reason on camera because I haven't asked the person yet if they can play it. And I don't want to say this. I want to ask them before I say it on a camera that I'm going to ask, that I don't want to say it like I've asked them. But anyway, we'll talk about. I'll tell you that after though. What I'm thinking for that because I think you'd find it interesting.
Okay.
So God says that those things. Back to the guy's house, he's or back to the restaurant. He forgets his wallet, goes back to his house, realizes he opens his fridge to get a beer, closes his fridge. Suddenly he hears his voice start talking to him. Hey Kyle, how you doing, man? How's it going, buddy? Kyle freaks out, looks over. His fridge has grown a pair of eyes and lips. He's talking to him. Basically, God made his appliances come to life. And then all of his appliances have existential crises when they find out that they're appliances, and then they all kill themselves in front of him.
The refrigerator commits suicide.
Yep. And then he has like a little bit of a breakdown. And then since he left his wallet at the store or the restaurant, the waitress came to return the wallet. She's upset because her boyfriend just died. He's upset because everything just happened. They kind of come together, embrace, and you know that they're both about to have AIDS.
Oh, man. You got some dark stories there.
Yeah. So that's one that we're going to work on. We're going to have it come out, and it's called Arg This Blows. You know, like I said, stay tuned for that. It could be some time, but stay tuned for that. That's the next one. And like I said, I am working on The Killing of the Joneses. I've got the pilot. First draft of the pilot has been written. It needs a couple tweaks, and I've got 6 of the 8 episodes for this first season outlined. So that's just a matter of flushing it out. But like I said, I'm working on other projects that aren't mine, and but I'm very excited about. So I'm really trying to just, like I said, not force it. You know, like I said, I don't force it with mine, just as it comes to me.
Facts.
You know.
How do you feel about could there possibly, after this podcast, could there be any collabs between me and you?
Definitely.
Do you see me and you doing more content?
I mean, I'm definitely open to it.
And so, what would you like to do?
I mean, we definitely, obviously, got to get you on our podcast. I definitely would like to get you on the podcast more often. You know, or just do these podcasts more often. Honestly, I think we got good chemistry. And like I said, I want to bring you on, start bringing you around the cruise and stuff. If you'd like to be, you know, because we're always looking, you know, many hands make light work.
You know what I'm saying? Well.
And I always at least love to introduce people to it, because you know the people who want to be there are the ones who are gonna make the effort. Mm-hmm. You know, and those are the people you want. You know, regardless of, I feel like a lot of times, regardless of how much they know, at least from my point of view, I always find that people who, you know, like training people is always great, because a lot of times they want to be trained.
Yeah, they want the information. People who think they just like know everything just don't. It don't work, because it's like you're around people trying to do the same thing. We just want the best outcome.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And the people who want to be there, they want to do good. They want to learn. They want you to think they're doing. You know, like that's how I think, at least when I'm new to something. And when you find those people, they're great to work with. And like I said, if you're just to bring you around, you know.
I would love to. Like, if you let me meet everybody, I would come up. I would be more than happy to get up there and get my first interview going and see how I do. I mean, I had to bring it. I'm interested. I definitely can do it. Well, Brennan Bauer, I appreciate you for coming on the Late Night Talks.
Thank you for having me. This was a great time.
Not a problem. And I have a gift for you. I was going to let you roll it, but as you're saying, I did it myself, and I don't think I did that bad of a job.
It's beautiful.
Appreciate it. This is a gift. When people come up here on my cast, you get a nice blunt to take home.
It's gorgeous.
And I'll roll me one like that to smoke right after this too.
It's gorgeous. I'm gonna cherish it as I smoke it tonight.
I appreciate it. You want to shout out your podcast, man? Shout out your podcast. Shout out your channel.
Check out Boo Talk at Rogue Production on YouTube, or just go to rogueproduction.com. and check out our services and our other videos and content, short films and music videos that we've done.
Go check his shit out. Go subscribe. Go like his shit. And go like my shit, first of all. So I'm going to need them likes to get up. I need y'all to subscribe. And I need y'all to comment who y'all want me to bring up next. Or just give me some ideas or some people y'all want to see. You know, just any category. I got y'all. Y'all know this. You know what I'm saying? I got y'all. Now, I love y'all. This is the Late Night Talks with your host. I say your host, my dumb ass. Your host, Mark. See, I can't.
This is the toughest part of it.
This is the toughest. I swear.
This is why they give you points for putting your name on the SAT, because it's not always the easiest.
You know what I'm saying? It's always hard just opening it and then closing it, but the conversation in between is just, I don't have no problem.
It's like Anchorman. I'm Ron Burgundy.
You be like, I'm who? Yeah, I be thinking, I'm like, what's my name again? Fuck. But yep, it is your host, Marv. Late Night Talks. Like I said. Brennan Bauer, thanks for coming up. It's your boy. Yeah.